and he Kraken shells off the global and gets that Ravage off, suddenly everything they want to do in the team fight, the burst with the Morphling flat cannon as well as potentially the Ags Earthshaker, is just going to backfire in terms of they are just going to turn the entire fight with the Tidehunter Ravage. So I think this game, I really like the VP draft as it scales into the late game with the Morphling, but the Sven is just much higher paced, and I think that with the Gyrocopter low cooldown in the aggressive mid game, they'll be able to force the issue at a pace that the Morphling won't be able to keep up with. And for no one else to better show us the game, Odie, Pixel, and Fog, take us away.
Thank you very much, Brian. And ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The first series we're going to be showing here on the main stage of Ti9 live from Shanghai. I'm Odie Pixel here at Fog. As Brian said, it really was sort of a one-up of each other with this draft.
It was.
But I really feel like the biggest one-up of them all was that morph. There was no hesitation there from VP. Yeah. They saw that gyro. They were picking that morph straight away.
Especially when you have the rest of the setups, right? Just like they were mentioning, it's not just that gyrocopter. They have their own backups too with that Earthshaker, even with the Brewmaster, who is the first pick. And also, let's just be really happy here that we're on the first game of the main stage, and we got FY Rubik.
We got an FY Rubik.
We got an FY Rubik.
Oh, we do.
And I love when we see like Rubik and Morphling versus each other, because we're gonna see a lot of like, it's not like spell steals, but Morphling kind of has that little like spell steal factor with him as well, right? So we could see like 3 fissures inside of fights definitely coming out into play. So
we may lose track of whose spell is whose. They're going to be thrown out everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And not just sort of the Rubik, the opening to this draft, it felt very sort of old school, right? We're getting like this Rubik tied on one side, this silencer being thrown in by VP, something that we saw them do a few times back in the Epicenter Major and have a lot of success with.
Yeah.
I'm bringing something new, as mentioned on the draft panel, the Brewmaster. Not a hero we've seen yet at this TI. VP, as always, the team that you can expect to do this, they're breaking in with something a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree totally with what they were saying about like trying to break the combo. They see the Tidehunter picked up early. They're like, all right, Brewmaster, hero traditionally not picked too much, but versus that Tide, you don't have to worry so much about him cracking showing stuff off, because you're probably just going to be searching for him in the fights just to throw him up in the air with that Cyclone of the Wind Panda. So I think the other thing they also went for is what I was talking to teams about, why Brewmaster wasn't really getting picked so much, is because his laning phase is pretty bad right now, is what they all were in consensus with. Earthshaker allows you to kind of skip that, because you're going to fissure block the wave constantly. You're going to set up Pasha to have a much better time. So we'll see if that does play off for VP, as matching the LGD aggression, we've seen these gyrocopters just pop off.
This is a gyrocopter, though, that is going to have to start in the mid lane, and it's going to be against that No One Dazzle, another sort of VP speciality that they brought out at some of the previous DPC events.
Probably pretty good lane for the Dazzle, I'd imagine. Just being able to constantly poke, you have the heal to push the wave in as well, so it can be hard for you to actually secure anything as a gyro because of that here. But they're already going to start with those missiles, of course, trying to secure those range creeps. He's going to be able to get this one. It's the 9.
That was really nicely done by No One. Getting the heal off before the missile connected, so he knew that he would have that time on the range creep to get the deny.
Yeah, very nicely played there. As they had FY sitting mid trying to snipe a courier, so I think that's one of the telltale things, is when they're like, ooh, the matchup might be a little bit difficult for us in the mid lane, so let's try to give you a little bit of an advantage there. Isn't able to get it. He's going to go top to try to help out Chalice. This is what I like to call the damage reduction lane, the Rubik and the Tidehunter. Throw your Fade Bolt, your Anchor Smash onto the carry. Gonna be very tough for you to get those last hits.
Yeah, on the plus side, at least it's sort of a double range lane for VP.
Yes.
So Ramsey's, obviously the Fade Bolt, he can't do much about getting hit by, but the Anchor Smash, you can try and sort of play it around. And eventually he's going to have those spells to be able to nuke the creeps as well.
Yeah, and he still has a silencer backing him up. One of the stronger support heroes, at least zoning these type of heroes out. Tidehunter, doesn't matter if you have Kraken Shell, because you're just going to be taking those pure damage from those glaives. So
got Roger looking for some action towards the mid. It was sort of spotted out by the ward. Still though, Somna's taking a lot of damage from this move. Will be able to stay alive and get himself back behind the tower, but they've got to be prepared for this these sort of rotations, LGD.
Yeah, it's getting pressured a lot. Only the 2 or 3 last hits right now on the Gyrocopter. Versus No One, as we kind of felt it would be, right? That Dazzle pick, that's why they wanted to have it versus this mid lane Gyrocopter. Still having Roger kind of chilling around the area.
It's just such a strong lane. They have the offensive potential with a poison touch, and these heals, as you've seen, if you're not used to it, even if you are, even if you're at the top of your game, these heals will throw you off getting those range CS.
Absolutely. So Pasha, we see he's starting to struggle, of course, because Roger's making those moves around the map. So he's just going to look to pull some creep waves, get chased out by X-Nova quite a bit here, as this Ogre who's just going to punch him. But full free farm, importantly for Ame. That's the one we're looking at. The Sven is getting no pressure on him whatsoever.
Oh, bit of a lift back onto Solo, dragging him into the creep wave. FY! He'll set up for first blood. Solo stepping a little too far forward.
It's an FY Rubik. It's game 1 of the main stage. He wants the first blood.
a bit of an FY highlight reel depending on how this game goes. But definitely the fact that Sven is starting well, as you say, this is what BSJ talked about. He was worried about LGD. If they can get that Gyro and Sven off to a good start, it's going to be very tough for VP to sort of hold the game off to the point where Morph is able to come to the fights and really utilize the flak without being run over.
Ooh, look at FY doubling up the wave there nicely for Chalice, making Ramses also farm under the tower as well. Some nice moves around here by FY, just building those up. He's just dancing around.
He is, and obviously what the VP do, they can start to walk solo over, but FY...
He's got a TP available.
Yeah, he can... I mean, he's
actually dead.
He's taking way too much damage. He's going to head up to the tower, but Solo, he's going to be around for the XP on that one.
Didn't get the in.
What was the plan there from FY? He's just trying to double stack the creep so they push into the tide on the top?
Yeah, I think he wants Chalice to be diving under Ramsey just like this, putting the pressure on him, not letting him to just free farm under the tower. Obviously, not wanting to die there, but it's not the biggest loss. Sure, Solo gets some gold there for himself, but you see Chalice is getting having a great time, and look at that. Look at this wave. That's a triple range creep coming in now. So that's going to be a very happy Tide Hunter. So I think VP, they should take advantage of this, though. I think you want to maybe even rotate Roger up top, and you try to set up here for trying to like push. Do not let this Tide Hunter get that creep wave off of the tower. And look at this. This is really gonna. This could actually chunk the tower down a lot. So Chalice, he has the skill of Gush, but he has the skill point in Gush, but no mana just yet. And Roger is making the move over.
And he's got that arcane range, so it's likely that he's going to get the chance to get a couple of fishes out. So we'll see the opening. In they go, collapsing in onto Chalice. TP over will be coming through from the Ogre. They're blocking Chalice off. FY's there with the new cut to Ramsey, but Ramsey starts to shift, turns towards FY, has to wait for him out over towards the trees and out of there. Chalice still alive. PSG.LGD will be able to keep Chalice safe with the support rotation. They're still trying to poke. In fact, Chalice, he's come back up. The curse is on him. Chalice will still end up going down. Now VP turning their attention over towards X-Nova. They're going to try and chase for another. The Fade Ball from FY will come out.
There's just too many creeps. They clipped the wave under the tower too, so they just continue diving forward.
Yeah, those stacked up creeps working against PSG.LGD there in that sense. And in fact, VP, they're still poking and they're still fighting. PSG.LGD is trying to come back in for the rune contest, but VP's already picked it up. Be able to grab that one and the top one. Meanwhile, down bottom, Arme does continue to get all the space in the world, enough space himself to head over and grab those two bounty runes for the team.
He's going to be the full free farm. The other one, though, if you look at the mid lane, look at that Dazzle. 31 and 10 to the 18-3.
This is the power.
He has really done a great job in this matchup here. They're even trying to fix this right now with a gank setup, but there's not level 6 yet on that gyrocopter, so no call down available. TP is at the ready. Roger's already prepared for this. He's actually smoking himself alone to try to catch something here, and he breaks through.
He sees the entire movement, sees the two supports in the river as the smoke breaks, and no one is going to be very, very safe and sound. They cannot get that surprise movement onto him.
Pasha dropping low from the cleave. Just be careful not to step up too far. A couple more hits and a stun, and he probably can go down here. Pasha.
Oh,
he just stepped up.
Oh, no. Pasha. Pasha getting a little shaky on the main stage. We saw some of those deaths from Pasha in the group stage.
Yeah. If
I'm
you got
sure
lucky,
the team would have hoped that it sort of left those behind, but
he did get the Drunken Brawler off before the attack, so it was like a 50-50 chance, but still.
But you shouldn't
risky.
play for that sort of RNG. That's not good odds. Do also managed to get the courier here, VP, so taking that one down from LGD and getting that gold bonus.
They were actually able to finish. I saw Roger chasing it with illusions, but wow, he was actually good to chase it and finish it. That's a bit surprising there, LGD, getting caught off guard. Still farming very well, as we were saying.
Yeah, Arme is, especially with that kill, this Sven lane has just gone better to better.
Yeah, how's their stacks looking? Looks like they're starting to prepare them. Both FY and X-Nova will start to do those for the Sven and the Gyro. Both of them can benefit a lot from that, as we probably expect Somnus, though, to be the one who's going to be running around more so as this Gyro ganking while Ame just farms. But Ame's off to such a great start. And immediately starts pressuring Pasha as well.
And Pasha really does have to be careful.
He's doing pretty well, though. Like, the Chert Gold, it's not the greatest, but he's kind of tied with the Gyrocopter, and actually Tanner, so it's pretty decent, but levels. It's almost a level 6 Brewmaster. So in this game, the Brew has a lot of different potential he can do. Has to be careful of some steals later on from the Rubik. You cover it pretty easily with your Brawler, but he can dispel the Bloodlust, he can dispel the Warcry, throwing up that Tide Hunter as we talked about as well. Going to be very important for that VP side's team fights. That's Pasha. making an invasive play here. Not quite level 6, pretty close to it as well.
He's going to get surrounded.
Get surrounded here.
Well, the three of them after going for the high ground. He has got no one by his side. So we'll be able to walk away. No point shed, of course, in the grave. Fully offensive. No one with a skill build at the moment.
As expected. He's also queued up the book, which we also seem to expect pretty much every single time on the core dazzles. The one thing is, though, they do have great ways to farm that book. So I think no one does have to be careful when he is like pushing out waves and farming with these, because Gyrocopter and Sven, they eat that book very easily whenever it is going to be used if it's not inside of just a farming position in the jungle. Solo is spotted on his warding expedition. He's looking in some trouble.
He's got a lot of backup coming in as well, Armate. They should be able to slow this one down. Missiles out. Fisher block from Roger.
Very nicely done.
Will actually shut the play down. They won't be able to chase.
And this is them all bringing the attention away from Ramses. He's able to just get all these free last hits top now, landing alone versus Chalice. Just keeps turning into the Tide Hunter, throwing some gushes and anchor smashes to him, then shits back to his form. As LGD, they're playing the farm game. You can just tell from the way they're setting up for all this, getting all these stacks prepared. And now they'll give FY the lane, as Almay will just jungle it up. Next Nova will sap that experience. And it looks like VP, they want to get on the aggressive side here. They want to make the move bottom. They see that the Rubik is farming the lane, so they're like, all right, Sven's jungling, we have to put pressure on. Don't let this Rubik just keep fade bolting the wave and getting all this farm. So this looks like they're going to just surround and go for this tier 1, as we expect that LGD will probably do the same on the other side of the map, probably going for the mid tower or that top. Still will be the mid. So a little bit of mirror movements coming into play here from both sides.
We'll see who's able to start the fight first as Armate. Close to no one starts to poke. Roger will get the wrap round. They've been blocked up, kept on the high ground. There's the ult from Pasha. They're ready to run them down. They're straight away on top of the Gyrocopter. Somnus is in trouble. They've taken him out. The rest of LGD will be able to get away, but again, Roger blocking off the entire team with that Fisher. They're even going to be able to look to chase Arme a little bit, but the split will end. They won't push it any further still, though. Great defense from VP.
Yep. Bringing Pasha there. Roger, again, being in the right place at the right time. So far, Roger on point with his Earthshaker rotations in this start, these first 10 minutes. Only level 3, as he's been forced to move around a lot, but he's got the tome. He'll be able to catch back up soon. And it looks like they're giving Somnus the tome in this one. Maybe we'll be the one taking it from his team. He probably just feels like he got set back a little bit too much versus that Dazzle. Sure, they don't have their Rubik level 6, but he'll probably be able to buy the other tome soon. Yeah, really prioritizing having that Gyro off to a good start in that early game. Probably because they want to be able to farm. Like Tide Hunter, not really that one who can run around and make plays too much early on. Sure, you have Ravage, but your Gyro is that main driving force of your aggression on the LGD side until the later stages.
Sure. And even though his farm might not be great, as long as he can have Arme in the front and he's able to get out all his spells, the magical output of the Gyro at this point is still something that VP have to be very wary of.
Absolutely.
You just have to make sure that they can get past Arme and get on top of Somnus. He is still vulnerable at the moment with that lack of farm that he could find in middle. Top lane, space is there, they'll take a tower. Arme's farm continues to skyrocket as he hits 6k net worth at 11 minutes in.
Looks like Ramsey's still going to be going for that Linken's first item. Probably the Linken's into the Aghanims in this game, as the panel was mentioning. Such a good Aghs game, as he has that Earthshaker on his team. But the Linken's very good versus those instant disables, in particular the Rubik.
Roger. Again, he's coming with the wraparound onto mid, looking for FY. FY has got the heal stolen.
But the poison and the Arcane Curse, he's ticking away. Goodbye.
They got him. A lot of damage over time, as you say. Those two spells, a bit of a nightmare. For FY, at least the Ogre won't care too much. He's a little tankier, but anytime FY gets caught out by those two.
They're trying to take advantage here of the slight time that they expect the Brew ult to be down, but Brew ult's going to be back up in about 5 seconds. Pasha does have a TP. He's setting up immediately. Defense of the mid tower.
And again, Roger. He keeps blocking LGD off. They keep coming over to VP's half of the map and they can't get back to their own. X-Nova's trapped. Roger himself, can he get away though with the telekinesis from FY, dragging him back into the missile combo. Stuns out Roger, he's still alive. LGD cannot get the trade kill as Arme tries to move forward, but all the damage over time is a pretty sizable heal bomb until Limpin Ramsey is looking for Arme. Arme's dead, double Ramsey challenge. It's a 5-man Ravage, but is there the follow-up? Sticks him up. VP, they're back up to full. They'll collapse immediately onto Somnus. They'll get themselves another chalice, will be able to escape. But VP, they are outplaying and coordinating these team fights to perfection.
Such beautiful rotation. I mean, Roger is just coming in so clutch for his team. That wraparound, again, he even gets put in the front lines, and he survives during all that. They don't have the damage because of how underfarmed the gyro is. Look at Maybe in the game. He's bottom 5 net worth. They don't have the damage for when he's in there.
And that's the second time that LGD's fallen for it. They're sending 3 heroes over the river, and it's as if they're forgetting that there's a shaker in the game.
Such beautiful plays there by Roger. And yeah, like we said, too tanky for him to even go on. Ramses turns into the Morphling there, or turns into the Gyrocopter. Sure, they get double stunned, but at this moment in time, they're way too strong.
It's a bad call from LGD to try and stick around for the fight. They feel confident because they have the Ravage.
Yep.
But at that point, Arme's already dead. There's no way for them to follow it up.
He's not ready to fight just yet. I mean, he's got the Phase, he's got the Midas, pretty much has the Echo Saber now finished, but there's a lot of ways to control him, as we said, from that side of VP. This early game aggression coming from this Dazzle, from this Brewmaster, from this Earthshaker seems to be a bit too much for LGD to take right now.
I mean, if LGD want to fight, they've got to do it when they know there's no split. They know there's no global. This is that little bit of an opportunity, but it is hard because Chalice chose to try and commit to that last fight with the Ravage.
And we saw too, right? Like right when the Ravage went off, we saw Solo pops the global before he gets hit by it. So there's no follow-up. Even though in that instance there probably wasn't.
I mean, there was like no one around anyway.
But yeah, just you see what the plan is, why they wanted that silencer.
Still, the net worth very close due to the fact that Arme, even though he was taken out, was able to get back onto the map, and with that Midas finished Echo Saber, he can keep that farm pace up very high. The gap is being closed between himself and Nolan and Ramses. Both the Morph and Dazzle race to get on par with the Sven's farm. And if VP are able to start to gear up and push around this Dazzle and his Necrobook, getting those towers, that net worth will swing even further in VP's favor.
I mean, the Necro one, and then he's already queued up the mech. He's going straight for mech, trying to deal with all that damage that can be coming out from LGD. They're going to be able to counteract a lot of it. Not just that, they're going to get a couple timings together, it might seem, here for VP, as the Blink Dagger from Roger is only 600 gold away. And if we look at the initiation from LGD, it's kind of limited until they get that like Blink Dagger either on the Sven or on the Tidehunter, which they both do have queued up. It will take them some time. So Roger could come in really clutch if he's able to get that one at an early pace, and they're giving him the farm. Very close to that blink. They're all already grouped up. The brew split is available again.
And LGD just avoiding VP entirely for now. See if they do anything about this tier 2 tower push. TP does come in from Xnova. But with their push of the Necrobook, VP doing a lot of damage to this tier 2. LGD will start to get close to the tier 2 top. Maybe think about looking for a trade, but it's not going to be easy. Bottom lane, Pasha trying for the wraparound. Xnova's already out of there, but the tower goes down for the 16-minute mark. VP continuing to keep the pressure up.
Xnova?
They want to try and dive this. They're going to. Ramses goes straight forward up to the high ground. Xnova's dead. Killing spree for Ramses. TPs will start to now come through from PSG.LGD, but VP are able to easily back off, get themselves out of there.
They got what they wanted. They can get an extra kill out of it. They've got map control too. LGD not looking to want to fight until I believe they have those blinks. I think they need some easier ways to set up the fights to be able to just instantly kill someone on the side of VP. VP, when they're all rallied together, they're just seeming way too strong right now. And now the Blink Dagger is already finished up for Roger. I believe it's coming out on that courier.
And it's just the way that VP's playing. I don't blame sort of Brian in the analysts at the start. You know, you look at these lineups and you think, well, the Gyro Sven, they're going to be able to play the fastest. There's a Morph. He's going to need time. But Ramses is actually able to get really active across the map because they have this mid Dazzle. No one's just this force that enables the Morph so early on. It doesn't matter if Ramses is committing, getting low on the HP, because there will be that burst heal and time for him to shift back. He can play so aggressive.
Pasha?
And it's catching them off a little bit. Now down bottom.
They don't have enough.
The split's going to be out. They're going to look towards Arme. They're going to surround him. Another heal bomb for Noam, bringing Arme down low. Pop the war cry.
They left him.
He's been abandoned. They've abandoned him. They know that there's no hope for Arme. As VP making moves there with just the two of them, taking down Arme, the most farmed hero, of course, on LGD's lineup. He just gets shredded by these heroes.
Yep. Pasha in this game, just be able to get how much he got down bottom because of the fissure blocks and everything from Roger. I'm definitely going to be giving Roger a lot of that credit there for that the setup that's going on for the Brew. He's able to do so much, and now we're wondering, why is Brew not being picked a little bit more? You see how powerful it is.
Looking
Whenever
good
he
in
has the
Pasha's
ulti up, LGD's just booking it. Maybe a
Apart
bit of
from
that.
that one death in the lane, but hey,
Sure.
you know, it's the first time the hero's been picked as TI. It takes a bit of warming up.
Sure. I mean, he still got so much done. And
Oh
with
yeah,
this,
he is.
With the combo.
He's in the zone now with Pasha.
Yeah, with the dazzle, it's seeming really powerful, really potent, how much aggression they can really start over the early game and just allow Ramses to pretty much do whatever he wants as Ramses. He's gone greedy. He actually had the gold for the Lincolns, and he's like, find the point booster. I'm getting set up. I'm getting ready for my Aghanim's. You know, I'm just starting to prep that. Because I know what we're going to get to in this point, as we see that Dota plus win probability already highly favoring VP. But LGD, they've got their timing now. They've got the blink on Chalice.
They do.
Are they going to define anything?
But at the same time, there's also the potential of the global silence. They'll find Solo, so there won't be a global. Or maybe there will. He's actually still alive because of the fact that Roger's able to throw himself in. Global's out. Roger keeping Solo safe. The heals are there. Chalice will now pop the Ravage on Ramses and will get the morph kill. It's a big one for LGD, but can they find any more? They'll start to move across to no one with a gush. Another curse thrown out by Solo onto both X-Nova and Chalice. They're trying to chase for more here, LGD.
They know there's no Brew split. That's the one thing. They're playing around that long cooldown timing. Trying to dive.
Pressure on. Looks like he may be a little too deep for them to continue to dive.
Ramses, he actually clicked the Shrine, but he didn't click his attribute shift. So he just gets caught by the stun and dies. If he gets the shift off, he might be all right just there.
Chalice taking quite a beat down here from VP.
He's got the constant dispels.
And
No,
the
it's
river,
Roger.
he finds Roger. Roger was trying to sit at the backlines in the river, looking for a potential to get him with the Blink Echo, but Arme finds him.
And how quickly the tides have turned.
Oh yeah, with Ramses falling like that, and Arme and Somnus getting involved in these big kills. The slight gold difference swings back in LGD's favor.
Now you have to be wondering if how painful that point booster picked up by Ramses was. Instead of having a Lincolns in the fight, he would have had it finished. He had the gold when he went to go purchase it. If it gets punished for his greed. As not only just that gold lead swing, you see the experience. It was 2K in advantage for VP. It swings heavily up toward LGD.
Let's see how the gold swings here around these runes. Bounty rune wise, LGD, they've got heroes set up, down, bottom. They're going to be able to get the majority of them. Oh no, wait, there's 2 for 2.
Super two.
2 for 2. Pasha was able to get both of those.
The bottles sometimes confuse things. But they have their
Wait,
Brew split
it was
available.
3 for 1, right? Yeah, it was 3 for 1.
It was 3 for 1, you're right.
Yeah, the bottle confused
I saw an illusion.
you. Yeah, confused me as well. Maybe question myself, but yeah, they manage to get the majority LGD.
Yeah. Now they can go into this Roche Pit. They have their Brew split. They know that LGD does not have their Tidehunter Ravage or that God Strength, actually.
How long? Yeah, still a bit of time to God Strength.
Yeah.
Can they still try and push VP out of the pit?
Still sitting around the area.
Anyway, if they could time it right and get him with the stuns.
There's 15 seconds without God Strength, but they have BKB on
They're
the side.
poking Chalice. He'll jump in to get the vision, stun out to Ramses. Now the primal split comes out from VP, and now it becomes a lot harder for LGD to get close to the pit, as Pasha will be able to hold the team away and get that space for Roshan to fall and Aegis to be claimed by Ramses.
They might look for a fight anyway, though, on LGD, because they know that there's no split available. Chalice is committing forward. They're going to have Ravage. They're going to have God Strength and BKB on the Sven. They want somebody here.
They are committing far. You have to be a little wary of Roger having the Echo Slam available, but Somnus is ready to go in underneath the tower. Stuns out from Arme. There's the God Strength, the shallow grave, keeping Roger alive. They'll try and get relevant. It's a 5-man Ravage. Jumps in. Echo Slam's out, but he does nothing at all. The BKB's out from Arme. He'll turn over towards Noah. The stun control from X-Nova isn't enough. No one finally uses. They've got the damage. LGD, they get both. As Chalice sees the perfect opportunity. He's not even done yet. Jumps in for another anchor smash. Keeps the pressure on VP as they're pushed back away from the tier 2 tower. And despite getting the Roche, getting the Aegis, they lose the following fight and they'll lose more map control.
It's the little things, right? Chalice just blinking into the pit there initially, giving vision, causing Pasha to kind of be like, oh my god, I actually need to split for this situation, allows them then afterwards, they know they have the way advantageous team fight versus VP when they don't have split available. Chalice with no fear. He's playing versus that lineup where he's like, they don't really have ways to burst me down as a Tidehunter in this game. With this hood available, he can just freely jump in like that. And yeah, like you said, the beautiful 5-man Ravages we're going to see again here.
I mean, it looked like maybe they'll lose a couple, but indeed, Chalice in the perfect position, even tickling Solo on the edge there. Every single member of VP caught out by that play.
And Pasha, you can tell he was like, I'm not liking this fight too much. He was even starting to TP out. Someone made the call, though, to try to keep it going, and they ended up losing a couple heroes there.
It doesn't get more perfect than that for this side hunter. 5K lead off the back of those plays. Roshan gone wrong, but not in the traditional sense. Where VP still managing to be the ones getting the Aegis, it did not matter.
Still gonna have, now they're gonna have Bruce Split available again. So like we're seeing, it's gonna be back and forth whenever these long cooldowns are off for VP. Them looking to bring the fight. And they're pretty close to that Aghanims on the morph too. So he will also be pretty scary when he gets that. As we see that shift at the 18-minute mark, a 70% chance for that Dota plus for VP. Now all the way to that 50-50.
Roche is not always the answer. So LGD making that play. Not a play you always see, only so the top of the top teams would make that.
Yeah,
to go in aggressive after the other team gets Roshan and Aegis. Normally it's okay, they've got Aegis, we've got to reset. They're keeping the pressure on, and LGD, they're straight back in, looking for the next fight already.
Going for the big wraparound, but the scan comes out from VP. They think they got a slight vision of Ame there for a second there when they were trying to get the wrap. So you see LGD, they're trying to get the wraparound, get the backlines. Even though they're playing into the Bruce Split there, they're looking for the Earthshaker. They're looking for that Brewmaster. They're trying to catch it.
Just every time that Ravage is back up,
yeah,
they're instantly looking for action. No slowdown in play from PSG.LGD, and this is starting to be the tempo that the draft panel talked about. This is what you expect from this lineup. Gyro, Rubik, and Sven ready to fight more than ever at this 24-minute mark. And
double BKBs at the ready, so they're feeling a lot more careful versus this VP side. VP just, I think with this Aegis, this is like the farming Aegis. Just get the Aghanims on that Morphling so they can start hopping around as that Earthshaker inside of the fight's getting into the back lines onto those supports. But LGD, they're staying in unison. Every single one of them playing around each other, all grouped up and out down bottom as 5. Got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left on that Aegis. As LGD, they want these bounties.
VP want to try and force this fight here. They know the LGD's got the numbers, but they do have that Aegis on Ramses. There's the lead in. Next over gets the stun. Ame just got Roger's dead. Pasha will get the ult out in time. Will send Ame up into the air. Chalice is able to get in and claim the bounty room.
You have to back away though, Pasha. That's a fully defensive split. He can't stay there. That's the other thing too, is the Brewmaster. We're talking about, like, sometimes, we haven't seen it in a while. Versus Gyro and Sven, sure, you can dispel some stuff, but your Brewlings die very quickly to the combo of the Flak plus that cleave coming out from Sven.
And Roger's got to be careful. We're
really
seeing a couple of times where he's the one getting jumped on the front lines. They need that Shaker to jump and go. Without the Shaker, there isn't that instant lockdown. There isn't that initiation really from VP's lineup. They have to make sure that Roger's able to get his spells off.
They're really starting to hemorrhage just a bit too much here, as it's that 7K advantage. And LGD, they're getting all these bounty runes too.
Oh, they are.
There's still one chilling up top.
Climbing.
It's 3 bounty runes for them. The 4th one is still waiting there, so able to keep increasing that lead, and the Aegis will get reclaimed. But I believe that Ag's Morphling is online. We'll see what VP is going to be able to make of it.
Let's see if this is what they're missing. The last few fights have been disastrous for VP.
It still feels like they need their BKBs though too. Like, they've got this Ags on the Morphling, which is fantastic, but there's just so much magical damage and control that's really coming out from LGD's side. Fear of what a Rubik really can provide, even though FY hasn't been having like the greatest steals or anything like that, just getting the instant lifts or breaking some Lincolns.
I mean, what are the big steals that FY's looking out for?
Fissure.
Fissure.
Yeah, Fissure's probably the biggest one. Bruce Split, of course, but you're not likely to get down versus Drunken Brawler unless you immediately get the lift off before as soon as he gets out, which you can do, but
and by that time the fight's probably over. Yeah. Maybe it helps you chase for the cleanup kills.
Yeah, I would
turn a bad fight even worse for VP. With that chase potential.
Still grouped up though, VP now. Ame, shows his face.
He is out on his own. Go into the trees. We'll go for the TP. Roger.
He's just going to get stunned up.
He's trapped in there, but VP a little scared. They're aware that there could definitely be quick reactions. PSG.LGD are starting to come over, but Ame was still relatively alone. VP just didn't know. They didn't want to make the mistakes they made earlier and try and force a fight straight up. Now they'll go back with the smoke.
They didn't have any information.
They've drawn the attention. A Solo, he'll head up to the high ground. Blink over from Chalice, catches the vision of Solo. It's going to be focused first. Fissure comes out from Roger. Trying to keep Solo safe. They've got to make sure that both Solo and Roger get the chance to
Here's that axe.
Get their ults out. They'll commit towards Chalice. Chalice has the Ravage, ready to pop. He's holding on to it for now. Ramses into the Shaker he goes, chases down X-Nova. They're pushing PSG.LGD back up to the high ground, but it's still hard for VP to find the jump that they hope for. As PSG.LGD, they know exactly what's waiting for them on the low ground.
Yeah, and the Axe Morphling, you know, it's strong because Ramses is really high level, but you also want your Earthshaker to be high level. You need him to have that max enchant totem for it to really become that super powerhouse. So only 2 points still for Roger, only level 11. He needs to find himself some level so that they can actually start using that power of the enchant totem.
Yeah, they know themselves. VP, they're still not quite ready to take a full 5v5. It's not easy.
Ooh, and look at Ame's pickup here. A little bit, not really super unorthodox, but the Orchid now for that Sven as well. Multiple different ways to catch Ramses. Yep. Ramses gonna be in trouble. Not only just Ramses, Pasha as well. Brewmaster hates playing versus silences.
Flank. Nice little escape back to base. He's got the stick charges and the heals. Maybe even buying a Fairy Fire on the way to make sure that he's not going to get burst.
He's like, I died to that damage over time before, not again.
He knows how much it hurts. But absolutely, you say with that Orchid, there's still a bit of time where Ramses hasn't got that BKB.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure he's got it ready as soon as they'll see that that Orchid's out.
A lot of different targets they can go for it. Pasha being one of those main ones, like I was saying, that silence, if he does want to throw it out. It's a bit too close to the base though, being a little bit reluctant.
VP just trying their best to split the map up. Now you know that LGD is playing as a unit now.
Roger. Getting stalked here by Ame. We'll be able to back off. So 30 seconds, we're going to have these bounty runes coming out. LGD, they've got creeps hitting the base. They're actually forcing a reaction to the base right now, so they're going to look to make an aggressive play. They're like, all right, Silencer just went top. We can definitely look for a fight right now. With a full butterfly finished up on Somnus. They're jumping for Ramses.
They managed to break the link because they're in with the silence. The global does come out. He did manage to shift before the silence came in. So Ramses has got enough HP to be able to waveform back out of there. Pasha is going to start to fight back with the Primal Split. Surrounding X-Nova, Somnus with the flak. Will start to kill off the Brewlings very, very quickly. Pasha's got to be careful. Grabbing from Chalice onto the backlines. They've found Roger. Amazing with the damage. Roger's dead as well as Ramses. There'll be a buyback from Solo. Sorry, it was Ramses as Roger. It was Ramses and the Shaky even and now they get Roger. They've got both of them. It's a triple buyback from VPs. They'll try and turn.
Oh my god.
But there, I mean, I got baited. I saw a Shaker die. I was like, Roger's there. I was like, no, hang on. That's Ramses.
He's getting caught off.
Ramses at the start of the fight.
That Orchid, it's really catching him off guard there.
It looked like Ramses was safe for sure. He built up all the HP, but he ends up back in the middle of the fight as the Shaker. And he dies straight away. They're
really starting to run away with this one here on PSG.LGD. They buy back on X-Nova. They're like, let's just bring the fight to them. They don't have anything available. Roger, sure, he's got Echo Slam,
risky play here from VP. It's not a quick Roche. They're trying. They've used 3 buybacks for this attempt.
Chalice is in immediately.
I don't know if VP can get away with this.
Doesn't look like it. They're jumping forward.
Ramses is trying to fight, but he instantly gets stunned. Oh, it's on top.
The Echo!
He whiffs the Echo! He did not get the blink off as VP. They've got to back off.
Oh my, he had it up too. I had him clicked on it. It was not canceled. He just didn't get it off there.
Ramses going in again. He has to be careful though when he's the Shaker. We saw him get tripped up in that mid lane. And now PSG.LGD are holding on to a mighty 12k gold lead.
And that was VP buying back 3 heroes trying to get something, just desperately trying to get anything out of it, and they can't. This Orchid, Ame, purchasing this was just causing so many problems for VP. They're set up here for the fights, but...
he needs that BKB, but really again, it's still back to that point where he's only halfway towards the money. It's going to take a long time. We'll see this again from Roger. He said nothing cancels this.
No, look, he just echoes the floor. It was still on
cooldown.
It was still on cooldown. Okay.
So maybe it was just still on cooldown from before.
I guess it must have still been for a second. All right, when I clicked, it looked like I must have clicked it a second later.
Because he didn't look at it like anything canceled it. I think maybe just in his mind he felt that the timing was there, and that 15 seconds was still ticking down.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot of momentum. That's out to me. Look at this, like Somnus, he's super farmed out. Pretty much all the important heroes on the side of PSG.LGD, they have the farm. On VP, they're really starting to fall behind. That mid game, that early game, that dazzle, sure, no one, he's 4-1-4, but it's a dazzle now at this point. It starts to become very hard.
Just finding 3 kills across the map. Solo trying to push out that top lane.
Uh-oh.
I mean, Solo must have known that that was going to end in death. I guess at least trying to use his life to make sure that the lanes are pushed out. It's more kills for LGD. It's only 11 to 10, but just the fact that the kills have meant that much more. The buybacks have heavily set VP behind, and the farm rate of Arme's, Sven, and Somnus's Gyro is just at a rate that's very hard.
Yeah. It's
for
really
the team to keep up with as a whole. And the difference between the supports are there as well. Space is there, easy Roche, easy Aegis for Somnus.
It's really telltale that VP has only gotten 1 kill in the last 16 minutes. How aggressive and how dominant LGD really has been around this mid game. Look at that one ticker. They've gotten an Ogre Magi kill in the last 16 minutes. Besides that, it's been only LGD just cruising through, finding every single fight that they want. Pretty much right when I had said that I think Brewmaster was looking pretty good and why haven't we seen Brewmaster, it just completely shifted the other way around.
It's a game against a Sven and a Gyro. Two of the best carries in the game to kill those Brewlings.
Yep.
It's not easy for Pasha.
They've got the BKB now on Ramsey, so he's going to be feeling a lot safer. But there's still so much damage now, and now at this deficit, do they even have the damage to deal with LGD's draft? As the BKBs, like we said, are ready. They've got their Aegises as well. And Chalice now picking up more items too. Has the Mac, going to be going for Greaves too. So a lot of mitigation going to be coming out for PSG.LGD. They do have Roger also hitting level 14 now for VP, so in relation to Ramses, he's going to have that max enchant totem. So yeah, double bloodlusted cores on PSG.LGD. Two of the best, like you were saying.
I mean, is there a chance for VP that this morph could be the game-winning element? Is the sort of the morph shaker interaction strong enough to win a game when they're 15k down?
They have to get some better forms of initiation. Roger, having such a solid early game, has not been able to find almost anything after that. Just seems like PSG.LGD always seems to know where he is in the fights and catching him at the start. It's VP. They will look to set up for bounties. Pasha, though, he's very far up and alone.
He's out of the game immediately, walking to his death.
They want more. But they won't find.
Just have that BKB Ramses, so a little harder for them to catch out.
They're not really splitting up much versus this Morphling. So when I have seen, next Nova though, they're jumping forward for him.
Gonna try for the quick kill with the waveform, and they have to try to get him more. Is he trouble? Roger's gonna buy him some safety as he jumps in with the Echo. Global popped as well as VP will try and chase for another. They're blocked off Chalice with the Fisher. He's very tanky. Tanky enough that they won't be able to commit and stick on him. Chalice is able to walk away. It's a buyback from Pasha. And again, it's just the Ogre dying. They cannot find any of the big kills.
And that was an Echo Slam committed too. And they only get that Ogre. Now a full Aghanim's finished up on the Gyrocopter as well. Ramses. Considering going for something here. There's still the BKBs available though. He's just in.
All of the big heroes are here for PSG.LGD. VP have to hold back. There's no way that it's in their best interest to try and find a fight, and they will back away.
So some of the times when I have seen these Ags Morphlings with the Earthshakers, what ends up happening is one team starts splitting up, and that's where the Morphling really starts picking himself up. Because you get the one-by-one kills constantly, you get these massive amounts of experience. But PSG.LGD, look at this, they're all just grouped up. They know how strong they are. They still have their Aegis available too. They're trying not to give VP any little type of breathing room at all.
They're playing phenomenally as a team here.
Oh, is he gonna be able to move out of that? No. Kind of stuck. He'll get out of it. Chalice. He's in position.
Chalice again! He's in with a Ravage. They've got the setup. The Grave does come out in time to find some safety for Ramses. He's back into the ball. Will jump away. BKB popped by no one. BKB from Arme also about to wear off. So despite Chalice getting a big jump, this time VP won't have any casualties. They'll get everyone back to safety.
Actually, nobody dies from that. He lands like a dream Ravage in the backlines, but they're able to disengage.
They've got the items now, VP, having those BKBs. The Linkers and the BKB, of course, on Ramses. They can play their way out of it.
But do they have the damage is the question. They're going to be able to disengage, but will they actually ever be able to look for kills, setting up onto Somnus and onto Ame? It's seeming extremely difficult here, as Chalice always just seems to be in the front lines, not really taking too much damage. And immediately we'll blink away from Ramses. Yeah, they're just so tanky, and they're really all just starting to pick up more and more items. FY, quiet game, but you look at him trickling up on that net worth. He's ahead of Pasha on the Brewmaster. He's got a Hex queued up. We're already talking about the problems for Ramses getting caught by these stuns, by these silences. If they do ever get that, definitely going to be a really hard game for the Morphling.
Yeah, with the butterflies on both cores as well.
Yeah.
Arme and Somnus.
Oh, Ame also finishes one up
he goes
too.
for the
wow.
butterfly.
Selling that Midas. Not wanting to pick up an AC. He just wants to get this instead for his team, as he's going to be able to have that 1-to-1. No one really going to be able to bring him down too hard. The enchant totem, though, from the Morphling, you know, you do get that true strike. Which
You do, right?
That'll be one thing, but
Which sort of makes it like, well, why the butterfly? We do see obviously butterflies
it's such a
spend
value.
sometimes
It's just such a value
the
item.
attack speed.
Yeah.
The extra little bit of armor that gives, I guess. And of course, with just everything else that's going to be trying to him in the fight.
Yeah.
The splits, the summons from no one.
Strength Hero is like even like dating back forever. It's always been like, I want to buy a butterfly, but you sometimes you just don't have the slots for it. This time he's feeling super confident. They have a 20k gold lead. VP starting to trickle their way out forward here. What can they find?
Ramses. He's going to try and look for the opening. They get the push on the two. Oh, amazing on the back.
Oh,
Two-man slot. In with the gold strike. Silence is dead. Will be able to save Pasha for a little bit with that shallow grave, but he's silenced, surrounded by Somnus. Pasha's dead. No one's taken out. A sentry's in position, so they'll kill him off through the Glimmer Gate. As no one bites back. And Arme finds him hiding in the trees. Roger. As this is just getting very, very nasty for VP. Every single fight, every single play. I mean, poor old X-Nova, he's taking one for the team this game.
Oh, for sure.
He is the only guy that's died on LGD's lineup, it feels like, in the last 20 minutes, right?
He is the only one who's died in the last 20 minutes. Yep, 3 deaths for the Ogre, unable to find any kills.
All working to plan. The Ogre Magi strats are real here. And it's absolutely working for LGD.
Hey, he's doing his job. He's bloodlusting
really
in the
is.
fights, and then he dies. They're like, all right, X-Nova, great job. Yes, yeah, they're really starting to, I mean, they have been running away with this one for about 20 minutes now. VP unable to really find any breathing room as Ramses. Stepping up, his BKB just comes back up.
Whoa. Just gotta be careful.
That was a little scary.
It's gotta feel rough for VP. I mean, they've only killed the Ogre. They cannot kill anyone else, it seems, on PSG.LGD's team.
Oh, look at this, too. A bit of a, quick easy kill there from Ame. Bit of an unorthodox build. Another Basher being built up on a gyrocopter after the Aghanims. So some more control for that Morphling.
I mean,
they're probably feeling themselves.
They're feeling it now, PSG.LGD. They know. 40 minutes in, 27k advantage. 25's coming out as well. Can VP swing this game around? They're running a lineup that has that Brew off lane, this Dazzle mid. I feel like sort of these heroes, their time in the game, it's kind of passed.
It passed
it's
a long
all
time
on
ago.
the Morphling.
Yeah.
It's all on Ramses.
It's a full 4 Protect 1 that in the mid game got completely outran here by LGD.
And
they've lost their timings.
I mean, if they can hold and keep it up, is there not going to be a point of the game where Ramses is like, well, I need to start building right click and screw the Shaker. I've got to become the Jara.
He has to. I mean, he has to get the Manta as well, though. That's the problem. Is that these silences and this control is just too much.
He's not investing yet. So do you think he's thinking, well, let's get a right click, let's get some damage items?
But what would he get? That's the one thing I'm trying to think. What's the solution? What right click item?
Get Rapier, become Gyro, bam.
Still very difficult. They're so tanky, right? Even then.
You've got the Grave. You'll always get the hits off.
Got the Grave, yeah, that's true.
Always get the hits off. I think he's thinking about it. He's still not spending, maybe because he wants both and buyback.
I do believe
I know he's got the recipe anyway, so he is going to continue with the safety route, get that Manta done, and make sure he's got the money. Yeah, he's just 200 gold short. So.
Oh, Courier.
Should have the. Oh no, that's his Manta.
That's the Manta.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got buyback, but he is going to be short of that Manta style for 3 minutes.
And they've already been unable to really kill anybody besides the Ogre, like you said. A DD route for Ame.
All right. I think PSG.LGD is gearing up for the finishing blow to VP in this game 1.
They have a Hex on the Rubik as well, like I was mentioning. So those instant disables, we're going to have to watch Ramses if he's going to be able to get that BKB off before he gets caught. Pasha as well as Roger, both playing on the left side there. Ame already pops the God Strength, ready to go.
And
He's jumping in.
Solo's dead. Ravage is out. It's going to catch up to Pasha, who's held at the back. Silence to make sure that Pasha cannot get in. Roger, he's trying to poke from the backsides with the Fisher, but LGD just pushing in, taking the range rack's fortification. It's only going to last so long as they'll wait it out. LGD finish off the entirety of the mid lane of Rax. Ramses is going to look for the jump forward. He's trying for X-Nova. Poor old X-Nova. But this time
They gave him the cheese.
They gave him the cheese. They gave him the cheese. X-Nova will be able to stay alive with the boys this time. He's not dying today.
That was one of the cheeses, I believe, because they still have the second one, so yeah. And now a full refresher as well. I think they had a refresher shard as well, right? I think they must have used it before.
X-Nova. He had the cheese. They prepared him.
Not
They
this time,
prepared
it
him for
says.
this push. They made sure he took his dinner with him. As now they can't even kill the ogre.
Now they.
I mean,
Now without the cheese. Maybe they'll give him another one. Do they give him the next cheese? No, they're gonna keep FY.
But the mentality now, they've tried to kill the ogre. They can't even kill the ogre. As this lead just continues to go. And I feel that we've seen VP in this situation quite a few times in the group stage. And game 2 hasn't gone a lot better after game 1's been this rough. A lot of the games in the group stage where VP did lose, it was very one-sided, very stompy in this game. For the 20 minutes onwards, it has been. Chalice is in. Ravage catches onto Solo and Ramses. Ramses, he's trying to play his way up back into the Shaker. Will be able to get the 3-man Fisher and jump away. They're kiting up LGD for now. X-Nova steps forward, throws out a Fire Blast, frees the pop. They're back onto the structures. Another tower taken. This push isn't going anywhere. LGD making themselves feel at home inside the base. There's the second Ravage onto Ramses. Burst down, X-Nova, he's gonna get the kill. A beautiful comeback story from the Ogre this game. From dying every team fight to taking out their carry. As the racks are down,
That's gotta be
GG well play. It's a win for LGD, it's a win for Ogre Magi. As VP, can they come back in game 2? I don't know if they can. This has been less than ideal for them to open up on the main stage, but for PSG.LGD in front of the home crowd, this couldn't have gone any better.
No, it seemed like these first 18 minutes or so, VP running away with it perfectly. They have this initiation coming from Pasha every single time. They're always taking the fights on their own accord. Everything's going well, you know, those first 10 kills, then LGD, they get the Blink Dagger on Chalice, and the whole game explodes and turns around. They fully claim the whole map control. They take several fights in a row that are extremely dominant in their favor, and VP, they hit a brick wall. All they can kill is an ogre.
All they could kill. Poor old X-Nova. The X-Nova Magi coming into play, though, at the end with that cheese and killing Ramses. You know, he's going to feel very happy after that, as PSG.LGD take game 1, leading this series for now. But there we have it. A beautiful victory for LGD, and VP, they've got some picking themselves up to do after that game.
There we go then. Game number 1 in the bag, and it's exactly the same story as we had in 2018. This, of course, a matchup that we saw in exactly the same round this time last year. No change whatsoever as far as the result of game number 1 is concerned. We're going to get some thoughts from our panel in just a moment, but I think our draft panel are ready to give you some of their thoughts as well. So let's head over there and find out from our 3 men who predicted rightly or wrongly.
I don't really know if we gave a hard prediction, but let's just
We were
pretend.
right.
No,
We were right.
We were right. Thank you, Purge.
Yeah.
And I think it was because this Dazzle thing was unexpected. They ended up giving it to no one. Virtus Pro initially it looked strong, but then it kind of started faltering.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically a support, but lately, at various times, has been a core. And what was cool about the VP draft is it allowed them to make the Brewmaster pick make more sense, because Brew splits into 3 units. The Shadow Wave is going to be high leveled because he was a core, and that meant that they could do way more mid-game damage. So they basically surprised their opponents with sort of a cheese pick, and then they had a much stronger mid-game than their opponents expected.
Yeah, they got a lot of value out of the Dazzle mid too. We've seen Somnus play a lot of matchups with this Gyrocopter, and the Dazzle he lost his lane. I think for the first time this tournament, he lost his lane really hard. I don't remember seeing him losing it that hard. I think no one was ahead by 2,500 net worth over the Gyro, I believe, at minute 15. But then you get 1 or 2 good team fights. We run into the problems with with VP's lineup where we talked about the big cooldowns. If they fail one time, there's an Echo Slam that whiffs, or the Brewmaster split after they take Aegis is on cooldown, and you know, LGD just run in and fight into Aegis and win the fight.
Yeah, it was just like 2 good fights by LGD. They got the Morphling kill in the jungle at that one point, and they all end on an Ogre, and that was all they got. And at that point, they're just going to get outscaled. Yep.
Yeah, they had tried even to finish off that Ogre at the end, and they were confident. They're like, I don't need a cheese. Give it to my Ogre. X-Nova, give him some fantasy points on the board. So that concludes Game 1 of the International main event. What a way to start it.
Thanks very much, gents. Yeah, we're going to get some more words from Lacoste, Lyrical, and Trent alongside as well. Gents, enjoy that?
Yeah, well, do you think they're ever going to go back to them if they're wrong? I feel like...
We don't go back to wrong people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how it works.
That's the place to be. Yeah, you get to look good over there, you know? You make a mistake, they just forget about it.
But it's okay, because we don't have to make any predictions whatsoever. We can just have fun over here. This is the fun place right now.
Yeah, we're the fun. If we were smart, we would be on that panel,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could look at it like that.
If we're not fun, do we need to find this a third job? Maybe observing will do.
Is that easy?
Oh.
It looks difficult to me.
It's a lot of pressure, too.
Is it?
Speaking of pressure.
Yes.
Oh, you see that one?
Segue.
That's what we do in this panel.
Segue.
He doesn't want to observe, he wants to host. I see how it is. Okay.
No, to me, it was like that crazy moment. Like, VP so far ahead early on. And the other big thing about that game was the Morphling Earthshaker. That combinations looked brutal.
Yeah.
And it just didn't end up working out for him. I feel like the nerves got to him a little bit on the big stage.
You think
I'm
so?
not sure.
You think nerves?
I feel like it.
I just felt like
Nerves
maybe they
or
needed to be
nerves?
Nerves, maybe nerves.
nerves.
All right.
The nerves.
That's what I was trying to say.
It just felt like maybe they needed a bit further ahead. Get ahead and get further ahead. I don't know. Let's check in with our wonderful Casey, who is out roaming the halls as ever, interviewing fans and you know, generally having fun.
How you doing, Red Eye? I'm doing good. We are here interviewing fans here live in the crowd. Casey, pretty good game 1, yeah?
That was an awesome game 1. I think Ti9's off to a pretty good start.
As do I, but let's hear about what our fans think. First things first, I found this young man walking around. What's your name, sir?
My name is Jake.
Jake, you're live streaming right now. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he is actually in real lifing at the moment with his own chat. This is some Inception stuff.
That's right. I'm here covering TI from the event floor because I'm not going to stream the actual games going on.
We are going to sue you, though.
Yep, I'm going to put the camera down now.
Great. Why are you here? Anyone you want to talk to? Anyone you want to support? Put the
Okay. Honestly, I'm here for Alliance and EG. Got some friends on each team, and I wish Bulldog was here. I think he's hiding somewhere, but maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Probably not, though. Thank you very much, my friend. Anything you'd like to say to your fans that are watching?
Oh, wait, these guys, wait, my fans are your fans?
All right, thanks a lot, boss. All right, you were great.
We're talking to all the fans here, and we found somebody who this is their first TI that they've ever attended. Watch out, Casey. My name is Casey. Nina?
原野
你喜欢哪个队?
LGD
I asked him what team was his favorite, LGD. And what do you think of TI so far? Ti9?
TI 到现在你是怎么想的？
那个非常的让人兴奋，老蓝一定是不可战胜。
Sir Action selects Boo How.
Boo How? No Boo How. No Boo How.
Sir Action selects Boo Shiwan.
喜欢。
End the segment, Casey. Thank you very much. What the heck's wrong with you?
Shishi. I'm going to ask you one more time because I want you to be super excited. Nishiwa Nagadoi.
LGD.
Yes! Yes! Great! LGD, lots of fans in the crowd, and you are still watching your own feed.
I just subscribed to him.
Did you?
No, I did not. Thanks.
He subscribed to me. He can't be subscribed to everyone out there. Thank you very much, Casey, and Sir Action Slacks out there enjoying themselves, but fans also enjoying themselves. Anyone here for their first TI? Anyone?
I mean, if
technically
playing
not, because you've actually played here. That doesn't count, Lacoste. You've been to 3.
Anyone else here played at TI? I don't think so.
Not yet.
Hey, the Synderen has, on the other, it's got a good win rate, by the way.
Only 4? That's a good number.
Good win rate. Yeah, Tsunami here, enjoying his first.
I'm having a ball.
Having fun?
I was obviously very skeptical, like, oh, you go to a China TI, the crowd, will it be as emotional and everything? Yep. My ears are ringing already after day 1.
Dude, it was freaking loud.
I
honestly, the last time I remember being kind of like, oh my God, can you guys keep it down? was Manila Major.
Yeah.
Like, those guys were insanely loud. These guys are on a par. Seriously, it's been a great time. Gents, let's move towards our second game. Obviously, we can wrap up on the first one as well. Trent, what do you make of Virtus Pro? Because, like I said, I ended that bit before we spoke to Casey. It's like, I felt like maybe they needed to be a bit further ahead.
It's a strat they've run before, this mid-dazzle, and it often looks fairly similar. They get very far ahead, and you're like, oh, this is rolling really well for them, but the problem is it's very temperamental.
It's artificial, isn't it?
You make one mistake, it's over, right? And that happened, it was kind of like 2 mistakes first, like the push gets denied, and then you kill the Morphling once, and you just feel super good on the side of LGD.
The strategy is good if you're snowballing, because you have Dazzle who's going to get this Necrobook level 1, then he's going to get Guardian Greaves. But you're playing against Sven, who's one of the better heroes against Brew and the Necrobook. He just deletes both of these heroes instantly, even after the split.
And to me, it was like that moment, too, where you don't necessarily want to pick the strats that are on such a tight timing. Like, the cores from LGD, I think eventually were always going to be able to catch up in that game once they found and killed the Morphling.
Well, so that's why you got to be fast.
Exactly, and that's the problem. I think playing on a timer
Just
in this
play faster.
environment, play faster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Lacoste gets it.
But PSG.LGD though, I mean that's a great start out of they needed that one in a way, didn't they? Lyrical, because they don't want the crowd on their back, and I know they probably wouldn't have them on their back, but they'd be nervous. They'd be more nervous if they 1-0 down.
They'd
right?
be on their back.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to be nice. But
No, seriously. But that's the thing about these fans. They're the most passionate, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in the C region, right? You feel that energy, and then the second you make a mistake, the second you lose one game, it is brutal.
Yeah.
They turn on you very quickly.
I think that
it sounds like you have some expert knowledge here, Trent, from hockey.
Well, I have people turn on me all the time. It's
right.
I
Okay,
remember you
right.
last year with the jersey.
Exactly.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
They thought I was so nice.
Well, I think you kind of brought it on yourself with the wrong jersey.
That's true.
And that's where you went with them. No bad jerseys this year.
No, I'm good.
Not a lot of hockey fans in China?
No.
Okay.
All right. Surprising.
Weird.
Who knew? As we head into this second game, Lacoste, what do you want to see different from Virtus Pro? Because they have messed around quite a lot with heroes in the group stages. They played the 3rd most heroes, actually, during the group stage.
I want to see some more late-game-oriented lineups because
something that can combat
all the games
PSG.
that they lose, they GG out before 50-minute mark. Only one was after. They're the team that is going to call an early GG, just focus on their next game. And
that said, they hung in there on game 1, though. They were like 20, 30K behind at some point, and they hung on.
For a moment, I thought that they were going to call GG way earlier because that's how they are. They just focus on the next one.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of like the idea of getting more aggro early. I think you need to have that late game insurance, but like you got to go back to the core of what made this team great. And to me, at least, it felt like it was always getting in somebody's face. Spirit Breaker, Disruptor, just run at people. You know, make them feel uncomfortable.
More CIS-style Dota.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard now, though. I feel like the offlaner is one of the heroes that typically helps facilitate that, and the offlane pool is awful right now. You play Ogre or Ench, or you kind of do not. I mean, Charles did a pretty good job of being aggressive,
same for everyone, though, Trent.
I know.
Another
That's why it's like Virtus Pro.
But other teams are making it work fine.
Well, you need other people to step up then.
Yeah.
So you're gonna.
So
I just don't think Pasha can really be the one to lead it.
We need the Darks here. That's what you're telling me.
Maybe. I don't know about that though.
I think that as much as I was saying, it's either that or like the Ursa. The Ursa was another one for them that was really cool because you could start the early tempo of taking down Roche and just shut down the map. So if they went for something like that, I'd be pretty happy about it. Even though it's a hero that hasn't been picked all that often, I like the idea of it. Just for their tempo.
We've got a couple of minutes, obviously, before the teams come back out there, having their rest, having their break, and then we'll get in towards the draft. We'll go back to our draft panel, of course. It gives us a little bit of time to talk about group stages a little bit more, because we didn't really cover it massively earlier on. But for those joining us right now, and I know a lot of new people do join us at this point in the international, the group stages were pretty sexy.
Yeah, they really were. Really nice moments throughout the group stage. If I had to pick the best one, I would say probably Newbie, their performance throughout the group stage. They could have won. Yeah, they could have won. Yeah, the performance of Team Newbie, who is pretty much a newly formed team. They could have won 2-0. I think against Team Secret, it's just some late game decisions were not there. Also, their game against Alliance, where they had the Anti-Mage fighting against Mega Creeps with the Divine Rapier. So, some of these things get stuck in your head.
They've been great, weren't they? Absolutely great. Also, I just want to throw it out there, the Rampages.
Ooh.
Now, I'm a sucker for the Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There was a wee double Rampage in that game as well, or he was chasing it, and they were, buying back. I get it. But at the same time, there was also a 1v5 Rampage in there.
Yeah,
from a certain
fresh.
Arteezy, which I thought was one of the best we've seen, because it was pretty Larry, really.
And on a Lifestealer, you don't normally see that.
Yeah. Sameo actually told me last night, I spoke to him a little bit, and he was like, we told him, we were telling him, get back. Like, just get back, what are you doing? Like, don't go deep. And he was having none of it. As the teams return to the center of the Mercedes-Benz Arena here in Shanghai, if you're just joining us, welcome to live coverage of the greatest Dota 2 show on earth. It is the International 2019. Game number 1 went the way of PSG.LGD against Virtus.Pro. It is a repeat of the quarterfinal upper bracket that we had at Ti9 last year in Canada. And the same result from game number 1 as well. Is that going to be trippy a little bit for Virtus.Pro? They're just going to be like, oh God, here we go again.
I think that it might be, honestly. This is a team that, like we talked about at the very opening panel,
they have those bogeys, don't they? The EG thing they had before where they couldn't get over it and they just kept losing.
And so they're like a victim of their own success. And it's a sort of, you compare this to a team like Alliance, right? Like heartbreaking losses, normally you end up having a lot of trouble dealing with them. Alliance, they're used to heartbreaking losses this year. And so they've gotten a lot of practice against it. Virtus.Pro, not so much. Only at TI.
I think teams, though.
You're getting quite bro. I think the heads are having an effect on us.
That what it is? Yeah.
The Jakiro head on you. We have to trade them since it works the other way around.
You can't split Jakiro's head.
That's true.
Yeah.
2 for 1.
Yeah.
But my point with that was that they've gotten really, really good at dealing with it, and now they're one of the best teams at coming back after a loss. Virtus.Pro, this is going to be the testing ground for them. Did they learn from last year?
Well, and also we've seen it in the groups. You know, they were under pressure. Day 1, under pressure. Day 2, under pressure. Day 3, under pressure. All right, day 4, guys, we've got to qualify for them, and they did it.
They love nothing more than, you know, shutting up people who are talking about them, right? That is Virtus.Pro's favorite
we don't
thing.
play enough heroes. Oh, let's just play every hero, then pick every hero.
Exactly.
We don't ban properly. Oh, let's just ban everything properly. We can't win from behind. Oh, we win from behind.
I like what they did here. They brought 2 coaches, so they can blame 2 people if something goes wrong. So they actually have Arzik, who is their old coach, and they have a new guy from Gambit.
Yeah.
Inside the mind
Do they just flip a coin if they get knocked out? All right,
who do we blame?
Who's getting cut? All right.
More options for blame. I like it. PSG, obviously, quite calm right now, Lyrical. Come back out. I know it's home crowd and the pressure's still there, but they coped perfectly well with it game 1. No reason to suspect they wouldn't in game 2.
No, definitely. I think that this is a team that that understands the feeling of loss, but also how to come back from it. And the biggest issue would maybe be coming back from a win. That's not as hard. That's a lot more simple to do.
Yeah, definitely easy coming back
from a win.
Exactly, right?
Oh, man. How do we do that again?
I'm not sure that's a thing.
No, it's not. But like, just run the same draft. Let's run it back. Let's see what they do. If I'm them right now, the other thing about it is that like their draft worked exactly how they thought it would. I think that they were ready for that early aggression and then sort of absorbed it, and now we're going to come back again and do the exact same thing.
It's also what they've shown in the past, right? I mean, they just Tidehunter again, right? Gyrocopter again. Nothing too surprising there. So stick with what works.
LGD played really well around the timings of these big ulti cooldowns. The Silencer ulti, the Brewmaster, one of them is on cooldown. They go into Roche, but they take objectives, and the second Roche was crucial. 3 buybacks. This is what VP loves to do, especially when they have a Silencer. Solo was the guy who invented it. Buyback, use the global silence, go in, bait some BKBs. But this game, it did not happen. And after the second Roche, it was just everything fell apart because they didn't get the buyback to get Aegis and the cheese, and they didn't get any of those.
Yeah, tough game all round. They've definitely got to switch things up in this second game as we head towards the draft, obviously, momentarily. I want to talk about Arme. Doesn't always get the project. We talk about maybe a lot. We talk about Ramsey and everything. But Arme had an amazing group stage. He had the least amount of deaths of any player in the group stage, and it was by quite a distance as well. Just 26 deaths in the whole of the group stage.
He had a lot to prove, I think. A lot of people were questioning last year, obviously, in the grand finals. There were a lot of people that were blaming him, I think unfairly so. And in the end, he's coming out here showing, I still got what it takes. There's a reason that people emulate my style the world over, and he's owning with it. So, yeah, I'm super big Ame fan. I think that just needs to keep doing what he's doing, definitely.
He has the least deaths because he played Faceless Void 5 times, so you can time walk. And we shouldn't take that into consideration.
You're not supposed to reveal the inner secrets of how and why, Lacoste. What are you, some sort of analyst?
Nah, I'm just here to have fun.
You're on the wrong panel right now, buddy. Wait until later. Come out with the analysty things later.
We can promote them.
Is that a promotion?
I think so.
Oh.
Promotion working with these guys?
Yeah. It's a promotion for the analysts. For the host, though, the desk gets much smaller. You know, first TI, very little.
Well, we don't want to get too carried away.
The big head kind of a deal.
He had a good group stage and some multicast stuff. We don't want to get too big.
I'm jealous of the beard, though. I think we all are.
Yeah, I would love a beard like that.
Yeah.
beard like that would be amazing. I can't do that. You've got the same issue with me.
Yeah,
I get the patches.
Well, this is actually just grey hair.
Is it grey?
Yeah, that's just grey.
Dude, that's worrying.
I know. Don't worry about it, though.
He's just a silverback.
He's going to bring attention to it.
Wait, what's worse, grey hair or the ginger hair on the beard?
Oh, definitely the ginger. Definitely the ginger.
Is it really?
He's distinguished.
Oh, it looks good. Yeah. You're very clean shaven. I like that.
Oh,
we've stuck together.
I don't have a choice.
Really?
Yeah. Try and go for that. It doesn't look good.
Is it like a year on and you're just like, I've got something there?
I'm starting Movember actually about 3 weeks ago.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Right, we're gonna have fun all the way through the international 2019. We hope you enjoy our panels, but the more serious stuff, the more analytical stuff, they are on the panel for game number 2.
PSG.LGD versus Virtus Pro.
That's right, Red Eye.
2.
That's right, Red Eye. Mom said it's my turn on the draft panel, and we're going to take it away. Brewmaster, one of the unpicked heroes previously. VP brings it out. Now, in a main stage event, doesn't really pan out for them very well. What do you think was the issue, Purge?
It just came down to LGD playing extremely well. They knew what their opponents had. There was a lot of good kills that VP secured, but they have to... they just have to like delay until the late game, because at some point the Sven was amazing in that match, like the other guys talked about, like the Sven cleave against the Necro spawns, and especially the Sven cleave against the Brew split. Like his Brew split, he was aiming for this like mid-game timing. He bought Vlad's, he bought a Medallion, I think. He didn't even go for, I don't think, Blink Dagger. And at some point, once his Brew splits gets cleared, it's like all of VP's oomph just gets deleted from the fight.
I mean, to add to that, I just want to point out that when your chair came up, I was kind of expecting, there's like this expectancy that, oh, okay, now he's going to be in the same height as the others.
You guys dwarf me in both Dota knowledge and height, but LGD and VP dwarf us in both.
That's true.
On this panel, Dota knowledge is directly proportional to height.
Is it really?
Oh, okay.
Yes. So right now the table knows
what do you
about as much.
You like 50% of us, or?
That would be generous at best.
So the table is like 4K.
This is a legend era, a legend tier desk, and you guys are immortal tier players, of course. And PSG.LGD picking out one of the most popular supports. Oh, we're just rolling right through this. And they take one of Virtus Pro's supports. They take the Shadow Demon, VP's most picked hero of the group stage.
It's kind of both teams. I mean, almost every single lineup is happy with the Shadow Demon. Leshrac is banned in the first phase, so LGD can't grab that as their quick one too. And Gyro also being gone means they got to go with something new.
Yeah. We had a game with VP in the group stage. They played Roger on the Elder Titan. He was kind of a sponge in that game. He died countless times, it felt like, but VP still ended up grabbing the win. I think that was against Fnatic game 1. One of the really important wins that got them to this stage. So probably going back to that because they felt like, okay, if we can have a game where Roger is not shining on the Elder Titan and we can still win, this might be something to revisit, and stealing the Gyro away is obviously great. I thought maybe we were going to see a Mirana from LGD in this slot with the Shadow Demon, but I don't know how much they've even played it here. It's been a hero mainly other teams have been favoring as an overall thing.
FY definitely had a breakout performance on it in the group stage, but it hasn't been necessarily one of their comfort heroes.
The Tide pick, we saw it last game. I thought it was extremely effective, especially against the Dazzle strat. Like, how disrupting it is to know that, like, almost everybody that's within cast range is going to get stunned if they don't have BKBs active. It really was a big deal multiple times. Chalice's ultimates were effective consistently. He was like the stun follow-up with his carry, and they know that they're going to have a decent laning stage because Tide can lane against a variety of heroes and can transition well.
They use Tide for something that very few heroes can perform in the game right now, which is they use him as a wall. So if VP want to push towers, they plant Chalice there as just a problem. Yeah, and when it comes to Roche, right, VP were trying to Roche, and Chalice would just blink in, anchor smash, and run out. Get information, buy time, outlast cooldowns, and then they could fight. So they're very conscious about how to use Tide in this way, and because of that, I think it would be really cool to see VP grab something that stops Tide in his tracks. Grab a break, or grab something like Disruptor, who can catch him in Static Storm, so he's like consistently silenced throughout the kill. and they can get something going. But of course, they are playing into a save.
So if he is aggressive in those push moments, they can actually have a way to turn that into a team fight for VP's favor.
Especially at Roche, right? If you have the Disruptor and the Tide blinks in, and that's how you try to counter Roche fights, you can just static storm him in the pit and kinetic field him and get a fight going where Ravage is not a factor. But of course, in this game, there is the Shadow Demon save you have to work around. So it's definitely not easy whatsoever, but they need to not let Chalice have this high of an impact in the game, I feel. And I think that's why LGD rate this hero so highly. There's two heroes for me that Chalice stands out on right now. One of them is the Enchantress that got banned. Also huge Chalice hero last TI, coincidentally, and the Tide Hunter. So, you know, if VP have to ban all these other heroes, Chalice will get one of those too every time. It'd just be cool to see him forced into another role, or another hero.
So we have one potential solution to make a Tide Hunter scared. We have the potential for an instant Hex on the field now. Lion selected by VP. This is one of the solutions to maybe make sure that whenever you're getting initiated on by LGD, you have some options to make sure that your entire team is not getting ravaged.
Yep.
It can be iffy though, because Chalice has been standing in really good positions consistently. Like high grounds, trees, always ready to hit the back line and follow up perfectly. So I feel like if he places his Ravage really well, especially against like an Elder Titan in a line that's iffy, because a lot of times Elder Titan's going to be channeling his Echo Stomp. If that gets interrupted, like that 4-position support, useless basically. He can throw out his Earth Splitter, but I just feel like Tide, the way that LGD uses it, they're very good at finding good team fights and ravaging at the right time. Other teams that pick Tide, if they can't take good fights, it's never gonna look like a good hero, but LGD really makes it shine. So I'm a little unsure about the support duo so far.
Well, do you think it's better than the Silencer that they first faced last game?
Yes, because that goes in the same problem. If it's harder for you to take team fights against your opponent, then Global Silence is not going to feel good either. So it's one of those team fight advantages that VP's just going to have to play against.
And again, it's comfort. VP had a great game with Solo and Light. That was actually the same game. Elder Titan had a lot of deaths, and Solo ended up being the position 4 and had a huge impact on that win. The difference being, though, that in that game, VP specifically counterpicked a core with the Lion. That was a first phase Storm from Fnatic in that game. This time around, Lion isn't really particularly good against any of these two heroes. The Hex is all right against Tide because it's a 0 damage stun, so you don't proc Kraken, but against Shadow Demon, I'm pretty happy to play against Lion. You have the save against both of his stuns, and now the Kunkka as well can be used to make heroes survive this possible burst that Lion can provide. And
that's a good point, and I think that's basically what VP grabbed the Lion for, because it combos well with Elder Titan. Elder Titan does the magic resistance reduction. Lion Finger and Stun is going to feel a lot stronger, even if he's not very farmed on the backline. So, like you said, the Kunkka boat's going to delay damage they take. The disruption will potentially stop that burst, but if not for the boat rum, yeah, it looks like they have a burst damage lineup building up so far. Okay, here's their team fight hero, right? Lane-wise, it's not the strongest hero, but if he has a good laning stage, you can cascade in some damage items. Your Rolling Boulder is one of the strongest teamfight ultimates in the game because it just causes disruption against heroes like Shadow Demon or even Kunkka. Just keep interrupting them with stuns and let your team do the damage.
And it's sort of an equivalent for the Tide Hunter on this VP draft, that you need someone who can be okay soaking up damage. And if you get a good Shield Crash proc, you will have plenty of damage reduction from his second spell.
Yep, and this is his first skill, or Swashbuckle. You can move, but do a bunch of little slashes. If you build the right items, you can do a ton of damage with it. But the big one is his ultimate here. Turns into a ball, bounces around, does tons of stun disruption. People are just... It's very difficult to fight into Pangolier if he gets his ulti off.
And look who decides to show up.
There we go. The one concern I have with this Pangolier pick is that I think when LGD are showing both Tide and Kunkka, these heroes, there should be some overlap between what heroes are good against these two in the game and in lane, right?
Is that because they're similar?
Yeah, they're both melee strength heroes, right? And you know the Tide is going on Chalice. You know the Kunkka is going on Maybe, unless they pull some complete curveball and put it safe lane or
support maybe.
Yep.
Well, the thing
is, it's true. It could have been a 4. That's a really good point. At the time,
at the time, yes.
At the time, Kunkka would have been a 4 with Shadow Demon, and LGD would play that. That's a really good point. Because I was already thinking, okay, how can LGD or how can VP try to get a similar start to before, where they punish Somnus in mid, get a good counter matchup, and try to go from there. And I don't think Pangolier wins against Kunkka. No. I think if at best it's a draw. Like that's got to be the best possible outcome. And Gyro against Kunkka, I think that's also kind of a draw. So.
So at this point, it's all but confirmed that FY is most likely going to be on the Mirana, X-Nova on the Shadow Demon, Chalice on the Tide Hunter. Now we just need to see how LGD decide to rearrange their mid and carry roles. VP's obviously expecting this to be a mid Kunkka as they ban out the Faceless Void.
Yep.
That was a hero that Ame was using effectively. It's very good with Mirana as well. Chronosphere, you get a guaranteed 5-second arrow. Basically means every time your Chronosphere is off cooldown, you're going to kill somebody. And because VP doesn't have any defensive saves right now, other than like Elder Titan hitting a backline or Pangolier doing the same thing, it could be very dangerous with when they already have a team fight advantage. Because they have very good heroes for forcing their opponents to stick around or somebody to get left behind and die with the X. So VP's got to have maybe mobile heroes, try to pick fights in a safe way, or they could grab a save, but most of the good ones are gone.
Is there any reason you wouldn't pick Sven right now, again?
On LGD side?
Yeah.
It depends on if you want a long fight or a short fight, I think. The way that Kankas choose to build, like if he goes for a Radiance sort of build, then maybe you want a long extended fight and you go for something that, I don't know, maybe like a Leshrac. They want to go fast. They want to go real fast. Phantom Assassin picked up as the core role for LGD.
I like that a lot better because it's a little bit more bursty. He's going to hit the back line, be able to kill a line really easily, Elder Titan very easily once he gets BKB. And he can also jump around to dodge things like Rolling Boulder. Sven would have had a disadvantage in the early game pre-BKB against that.
The thing is that both those heroes will have to be very, very wary of the disarm from Pangolier.
It's true.
So,
shot. One of Phantom Assassin's biggest weaknesses is the laning stage. Yep. She has a lot of weaknesses against a lot of heroes and lanes, but they're probably expecting this to be an offlane Pangolier who is also not a strong laner, so because of that they can get away with this. But VP could put this Pangolier on no one. He's a very adept Pangolier mid player, and they could pick the final hero for Pasha, who can defeat this PA in lane and be good in the game. I kind of like the look of maybe Doom. You could Doom out the Tide. You're good. You're pretty good against PA in lane. You buy a chainmail, or maybe you're lucky and you devour an armor creep, and you can play that lane together with either Elder Titan or Lion, and just have that high impact later on in the game.
I like that idea. Maybe they want another tanky stunner hero potentially that's going to lane well against the PA. Because right now with the things like having X Torrent into Arrow, for example, it's tons of stun duration. Having a more tanky hero might really help out against that kind of a combo, because I've seen a lot of games where Mirana just wins the laning stage because they're very good at executing the chain stun combos, and there's not much you can do about it.
Oh, it's a mid-gyro.
Vintage pick.
So this is something similar. I don't remember what team did it, but they picked a PL with the purpose of blocking arrows with the illusions. I think TB can do the same thing with Conjure Image. It's going to give them the protection against the Mirana arrow combos because you can just use your illusion to block. I think that's what they're going for here, while it also being an okay carry.
It's a high armor hero against PA as well. It's one of the carries that PA has the hardest time against, simply because she can't burst that hero. It just tanks too much of the damage when it gets its first major item up. And yeah, it's a Ramses special. So.
And PA's BKB is going to be whittling down to 5 seconds extremely quickly. You're going to have to be dealing with a Lion, you're going to have to be dealing with Reflection, Elder Titan, all that stuff. If she gets an early BKB and they don't manage to wrap the game up early, that could be devastating for LGD.
It could, and it kind of depends on how well Terrorblade does. There's a lot of stuns on the enemy team, so if he's not super far ahead, he could definitely get bursted with chain stuns.
Well, let's just see what one of the VP coaches have to say about his draft. We've got Casey speaking to our Zeke.
Yeah, that's right. We're here to just get a little bit more of an idea of how you're feeling about the draft. Are you feeling confident after this draft, and how does that compare to how you felt after game one?
Of course. Did you see Ramses playing TB? We're super confident. We call it Papochka na TB.
Okay. Now, what about how you feel about your confidence level winning game two? 100%?
More than 100%.
More than 100%.
Yeah.
This is also the first time for TI that coaches are able to sit and listen to the in-game chatter and the conversation of your players. What has that been like for you, and how has it helped you as a coach?
I'm super excited that they invented it, that we can listen to it. Super excited, and after the game, me and the second coach, we can tell the team what they can do better about communications and stuff. It's really good.
It helps the overall communication of the team.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you, and can't wait to see how it turns out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Fogged, back to you and Owen.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yeah, it should be an exciting game too. And great to see the confidence there from RZ coming into this. He truly believes in the Ramses Terrorblade, and as he pointed out, in the past, there's very good reason to believe in it, right? This, back in the day, was the hero that Ramses would just insta-win games. Teams were first phase banning the Terrorblade. It's a bit of a different meta, a bit of a different time. Does it still have the power, and especially against this lineup, to get VP that win?
Whew, not too sure. They have a lot of different solutions for it, though. The high armor, though, on Ramses, on that Terrorblade, definitely very good pick there versus the PA, as well as versus that Ti9. The Anchor Smash is still going to be annoying because you reduce a lot of that damage, but you won't take as much, at least, from it. So that's going to be a neat one. And they should feel pretty confident, too, right? Ramses, they've won how many majors based on the back of Terrorblades and stuff like that. So we're going to see how it plays out here, too, because they do pick up Pango as well, which is a little concern for me.
Okay.
Having that hero, giving PA what could potentially be a very strong lane, could be one of the things that I'm a little concerned for them there.
And there is going to be some struggle for the Terrorblade early on, right, surely? I mean, I'm seeing heroes like the Shadow Demon, the Mirage. There is this magical burst that a Terrorblade in the early portions of a game is very vulnerable to.
And look at the way that they're playing the lane already. You can tell that they want to go for some type of play immediately on Ramses, but I love the point that Kevin brought up. We saw that in the group stages. Someone, I think the PL pick like he was mentioning, you have your Conjure Image. So at least you have some type of solution to block out those arrows. Good lane, Solo. He wanted to go for a courier snipe, but they know.
Keeping it hidden there.
And they've actually forced Ramses to TP to the tier 1 here because he was getting zoned out from the wave. So that's a little bit, can be a little bit scary. If you do actually get brought down as this Terrorblade now, you won't have that TP to return to the lane. So Ramses, they're going to have to secure him, make sure he does not get killed. Mid, we see those first 4 creeps being secured by no one there.
Yeah, against the Kunkka with his right click, that's not an easy job.
No. Animation, though, super good on Gyrocopter, pretty much instant, and you have the missile to zone him away. Doesn't get that deny there, though. But overall, Kunkka versus that Gyrocopter, we've seen, I remember it was Team Secret, right? Last year, they loved it. Before it was nerfed, of course, with that Tidebringer, but overall, the way that there's the interaction of Rum versus Flak Cannon versus Gyrocopter overall is very strong. Able to pretty much counteract the entire flak, and then your team can go for a fight when Gyro doesn't have it if you get the Rum off during it.
We heard, obviously, the confidence of RZ, but I think you look at the other side, that 5th pick PA, that just radiances sort of confidence from PSG.LGD. You're picking this PA, a hero that is pretty squishy. There's a lot of magical burst against. But I think you're saying, well, we have got the Kunkka with the Rum, and we have got Xnova with the Disruption. We can afford to play this hyper-aggressive sort of glass cannon carry because of our lineup and because of how strong it is.
It's like they've got the double saves, and then they also have it's like a BKB timing. Sure, in these type of parts of the game, he'll be a little bit weak. Arrow just off the mark. But once he gets BKB, he's going to reign supreme, right? Who's the only one he really has to worry about when he has BKB is just the Terrorblade.
Very fire time, won't save him. VP. They're able to get in on the middle with Solo coming forward with that stun. His first blood is secured, and no one will be given that edge that he was already getting in the CS, as you say. He's playing this matchup perfectly.
This was one of the heroes that we've said a long time ago also, that VP, they were one of the first ones to really start bringing the mid Gyrocopter when they were running with Roger Earthshaker. When they first brought Roger along, they played this matchup so many times, just having that Gyro being very aggressive in the mid lane. So yeah, 15-3 start. Also the Pango, 15-4 start. Very impressive already for VP. As also, no, Xnova will go down.
Solo, he's making these moves from top lane to bottom lane, making sure that both of these cores really do have a beautiful opening in the first few minutes.
It's going to look to be a very early Javelin coming out for Pasha, based off how much he's able to get done in this top lane here with Solo so far.
See now, a bit of a turn. Solo is going to be able to walk himself away.
You mentioned how much magical burst there is on VP. Also, you have to throw in the ET, right? They have that extra natural order that will really amplify everything together when they will be able to have those timings. That's poisons. We'll stack up onto Pasha, but it's only level 1.
Yeah, that importance of the BKB on PA definitely amplified this game, but it's gonna take time. We'll see what sort of a pace VP are able to play with, as they themselves also likely to be making moves as 4 and trying to buy space for Ramses on the map. As their other 4 heroes can definitely afford to make aggressive plays. Bottom,
Ramses.
And they go with the Star Storm.
Arrow off the mark again.
Burst low, and indeed FY. Maybe watching a few too many BSJ streams. I'm joking, right?
Oh, he skills leap. He's going for the triple leap. He wants Roger. He gets
it. He's watching BSJ streams. FY, there we go. Compliment for you as well, bro. Balance it out.
Is Brian play Mirana?
I mean, I wouldn't call it play.
Oh, bro. Come on. What'd he do to you?
See bottom. Yeah, here's the meta for a bit of a show on to Chalice. He's tied. Could walk it off. FY's
no leap.
More vulnerable. And in fact, Solo He's got the setup with the Hex, Roger with the stop. So he's on a killing spree. This Lion.
He's doing himself. He's got Tranquil Boots.
He's killed up.
Stick.
He's killed mid. He's killed top. He's killed bottom. He's making the magic happen, Solo.
He's really securing this early game for them so far here. And immediately walking toward mid lane. No hesitation. He's got both spells available when he has his stick. Do they have level 6 on no one? Not just yet. But he will already prepare the missile. And here comes Solo. No one is pretty low here, though.
Somnus has got a lot of HP to work with. That'll be the drag back.
Nice Hex.
Torrent is going to be missed due to that disable from Solo, throwing the combo off top lane. Arme and X-Nova be able to push over toward the rune spot and claim Pasha's life whilst he's left alone and Solo's trying to help out mid.
Yeah, he was left alone for quite a while and was still doing pretty well in those last hits, so they dive forward and really make sure that they can push Pasha out of there. As it looks like Somnus actually might hit level 6 before no one does in that mid lane. Has fully recovered, a couple last hits behind, but still doing just fine in that matchup. Arrow immediately onto that catapult, so that push. Sometimes
he didn't miss that one.
That time he didn't miss. Yeah, sometimes you see like the push come out with those catapults with the Terror Blade. This time, definitely not going to be the case as X-Nova. There's going to be a swashbuckle.
I was going to say they're chasing this one for sure. Swashbuckle won't quite kill him.
No javelin procs, but
he's hunting, and he's found him. It's going to be a kill for Pasha, making the plays with that javelin picked up.
FYI, he wants to make the first rotation himself onto mid lane. It is spotted immediately by that VP bottom ward. So no one will probably play careful here. Also having a chainmail. He's kind of tanky. With that double Wraithband chainmail, sitting at that 17 armor when he's standing next to the tower. Still playing a little bit safe as he did spot the move. And it looks like he's going to make his own move. As he picks up his boots from the courier, he's like, okay, I don't want to sit mid. I can probably set up a kill easily onto Ame up top. He is also spotted by a ward during this rotation, though.
Solo can get this opening. By time for him to come in, X-Nova will slow down the move from no one with the disruption. They have the combo. FY's trying to turn an arm. Jumps in, gets one crit, gets a second crit with the Star Storm. That's the kill for PSG.LGD. As they read the moves of VP, FY there with the backup to turn things in their favor, and they get that gyro out of the game.
He saw FY bottom pick up that haste rune. FY quickly just darts through the jungle. Now
FY's looking for more.
They want Roger.
Should be able to have a good shot at chasing this down. As Roger, he has a TP, but FY's got that arrow if Roger tries to play his way out of this. I don't think there's any escape for the ET.
They're cutting him off as well. X-Nova cuts off the other route, so Roger really trying to just play around
the lane, though, whilst the distraction's there, Arme is left alone. So Roger's kind of happy with that. He says, I mean, you're spending a lot of time looking for me, but your carries died. So if Roger dies here, it doesn't, it's a good trade. VP's happy.
They look like they're going to get him, yeah, but like you said, a very nice play there as Pasha gets a whole... Pasha gets, what, two
kills Ame
from it, and he kills Ame?
That's going to be Arcane stun, so Pasha's strength in the lane now is very hard for Ame to farm against.
And it's also, it's not even just Ame, it's like the two supports are forced to spend, what, 30, 40 seconds chasing around that Elder Titan, which means, look at the Terrorblade. Ramsey's able to farm freely versus Chalice as well. That pressure being alleviated off the map. And they're going to start preparing those stacks.
There we go, Somnus. He's got that 7, he's got a lot of damage. The Hex tries to throw off the combo, but it won't be the case. Still able to drag him back. Get that pick off. And enter Solo Street. Gives a little tasty bounty early on for Somnus. Overall, even net worth. All cores really finding some action. I guess the one difference being Solo stepping a little further ahead.
Yeah.
I think ahead of the supports.
Biggest winner is definitely Pasha. A Pangolier having this great of a start in the game. There's a reason we don't see this hero picked too often, especially not in that 3-position role, as we've heard.
It's
not
a
strong
easy to do
laner.
this.
Yeah, and he's having an excellent time. Already Arcane Boots finished up after that Javelin. Fantastic timing for him. And you see Ame, he has to play a bit afraid up here until he gets rotations.
He cannot trade with the Pang.
No.
Mid lane, setups there, FY. Timing perfectly.
Easy kill.
Gotta be careful how you step up in the lane against this SD, as it's very likely that FY is hiding in the shadows to make the counterplay happen. Pasha playing around with the Rolling Thunder. He knows that all he needs is a swashbuckle to get out of that combo.
Very nicely done there. He knows that he's just watching the animation of the Kunkka, waiting to see if he thinks it's a boat, if he thinks it's a torrent, whichever one he believes he can save that Rolling Thunder if he needs to. But holds on to it. So Ame still has to play very careful up here, and he's just gonna have to jungle a little bit, being pushed away from the lane. as Ramses has a Terrorblade, you're going to be able to jungle at that much faster pace than a PA, as PA does not even have a steroid. None of them on her team can really amplify her, while TB just, your Conjure Image will always act as your own.
So. And it's going to be a long sort of time for the PA. Same to be said for the Terrorblade, but maybe even longer so for the PA until she's active. She's going for the Battle Fury build this game. Mid lane, another setup into the arrow. They're making these combo plays happening. There's a lot of setup for FY to play with this game, and he's not missing arrows anymore.
They have like the two best heroes for setting up in the game. Kunkka as well as that Shadow Demon. OD might be the other one that you can argue for, but Pasha, he's getting surrounded here.
On the high ground, he's going to try and roll his way out. They're bringing back into the arrow. Torrent perfectly executed. As they have to disable to make sure there's no way for him to roll away.
Playing Pango versus Kunkka can be a little difficult sometimes, right? Because you're charging up your Rolling Thunder, and he can actually just use the X to disrupt down as well, rather than just using the Torrent or that boat. So able to instantly be able to set that one up, and then an arrow immediately to take out the catapult, but they won't be able to transition it into a push in the mid lane. But bottom, looks like they do want to turn that into a push onto this tier 1 tower for PSG.LGD.
LGD with their items, you know, obviously they're all going for big things. Somnus also is the double brace Radiance build for Kunkka.
That's like the Kunkka build now, it seems. Yeah.
It just makes him so tanky and so hard to deal with in these fights.
Especially when he's playing versus a Terrorblade, right? You're playing versus an illusion-based hero, you want to go for that Radiance on the Kunkka.
Yeah, Radiance on Kunkka, and as I say, the Battle Fury on PA, they will have ways to deal with Ramses' army.
I think I feel like you have to almost go on PA, like Battle Fury for PA. And he's like one of the few heroes, like anti-mage and PA feel like they probably just need to if they don't have their own type of steroid. If you don't have a Magnus, you don't have Bloodlust or somebody else that's just giving you that way to farm a lot faster.
You don't think sort of a Deso rush is, it's just too risky nowadays, one bad fight and you're not coming back into a game?
I think versus a hero like Terrorblade, it's not worth it. Versus the other four, sure, but TB has such high natural armor.
Get the pull back onto Roger. Just throw the ult out. It's going to clip onto Somnus. Pasha's still trying to fight with the supports as they're rolling onto Xnova. But attack on Solo. Jump in. It's an easy kill for Ame. These fights now, they're trying to force them, VP, but PSG.LGD, they just turn, they jump, they get these kills. And those early ganks from Solo are just, they're miles away. This game has turned around. PSG.LGD making the leading moves. And all three cores benefiting.
They need no one to be the one to making the moves around, but he's probably feeling a bit reluctant. After that move, he makes the move top and then just dies immediately, gets his game set back heavily. Probably doesn't want to be the one to make moves until he has that drum finish stuff. So for now, they're going to be a bit limited in their movement, while LGD, they're just cruising back and forth, looking for plays constantly with that Kunkka as well as that Mirana. And they're just constantly setting up, protecting Ame's jungle. The arrow. Not being thrown out here. Now it's gonna get close. He's gonna get hit.
Good juice for Solo, but still taking a lot of damage. FY. He tries to come in, but the turn, the finger, FY. Oh, FY. Why? He wanted it.
He did.
I mean, he got the finger, and that's a finger buff for Solo.
Overconfidence. Probably not expecting everybody else to be there, but still. Yeah, feeling himself there for sure. Probably, maybe not even getting the kill there. Solo's still pretty tanky with this, like Tranquil Boots as well as Bracer. Like, this is a line who's gotten a lot done in the early game, like you mentioned. He kind of is the 4th position already at this point for his team. That being said, frontline for VP, a little bit concerned for them, right? You look at their heroes, and they're fairly squishy on their draft.
Yeah, it's what Pasha, as long as he gets the Rolling Thunder off, he can sort of be the man to go in.
But there are ways to kill him. You know, they have the PA, who's just straight physical damage, which Pangolier does not really like playing versus too much. So they don't really have that best frontline because Roger has been relegated now to the 5 position. So their frontline is definitely lacking it versus what LGD has, who has the best frontliner. They have the Tide Under.
And a Tide Under covered in Kunkka's ROM.
Absolutely.
And Kunkka Somnus, 3,300 gold on that relic. It's pretty much there. It's going to be a very fast timing from Somnus this game.
And a fast Battle Fury too. Ame already having 2 pieces. He's only like 1,600 gold away from that Battle Fury.
This is scary for VP. It may only be a 1k lead, but the fact that PSG.LGD are getting this space for these 2 cores, that passing in 2 minutes time and they're turning up with the Battle Fury. Well, I mean, might choose to stick to just focus on farming for the next time afterwards, but at least with Somnus coming to these fights with a Radiance, it's not going to be easy for VP to take the fights head on.
No, especially because Ramses is not going to be... Ramses turning up to the fights, there's a lot of control, there's a lot of magic damage for this Terrorblade to deal with. He's not going to be able to just walk in with his illusions doing anything possible because there's Torrents, there's Cleaves, there's boat, there's the Star Storm, there's so many different instances of damage that can clear out those illusions very quickly. So Ramsey's game is going to be tough. They really need to start rallying around the Gyrocopter, and that's what they're going to do. The drum is finished. They've got Maelstrom as well on Pasha. He's looking to see what he can make. I want to see Pasha switch this up, though. I think he should go for the mech build in this game. Instead of just, I mean, he has the Maelstrom already done, which is great damage, that magical mixed. But now he's queued up the Aghanims, and like we said, their front line is definitely lacking.
See smoke from both sides and a moonlight as well from FY to try and set things up. Hunting for Ramsey's illusion in their jungle. They know that Ramsey's is likely to be nearby, but he's already headed over there, back to the half of the map. A Hex will be attempted. Down bottom, but a quick run away. FY with the ace rune already popped. Will manage to get himself away from that. So neither side finding much of a catch with these moves, just avoiding one another.
It's actually already going to be a full mech on FY as well. So we're talking about tankability of LGD with the hood, with a mech on your support Mirana. This is definitely going to cause problems for VP, who do not have anyone matching them.
They're not going to have the damage with that mech and the Kunka's Rum in these fights.
And the front line too, they just won't have that there for themselves, so they're gonna have to be playing a little bit of this farm game.
Yeah, Ramses needs a lot of time this game.
Yep.
Some of the Battle Fury build and the pace that PSG.LGD themselves probably feel comfortable in playing, we are probably likely to see him get that time. It's just a question of how well does the rest of VP's lineup hold up against these fast item timings of LGD.
Yeah, PSG.LGD, they're feeling good right now, right? They don't need to force anything. They're playing on their side of the map. They're the ones getting like this free farm. They're gonna have the Battle Fury finished up. The Radiance gonna be done on Kunkka too. Probably when they have Radiance, they're gonna look to take the fights. But
that's
they're feeling
that's
very
the
good.
thing I feel. Once they have Radiance and Battle Fury, they can keep fight, but they're not too fussed if a fight is forced because of the fact that they can keep one another alive very easily. They have the sustain and they've got the damage.
Yeah, Ame can just sit in the jungle and then come, you know, typical carry contribution, show up at the end, couple daggers, jump in, clean some people up. See that 55-45 Dota plus probability at the moment here. But definitely feeling for, you look at no one right now in the net worth, he's really starting to get left in the dust. He's that hero they have to rally around when he has BKB, but that's going to take time. He's going to have to act as that pseudo frontliner as this Gyrocopter versus a PA. Which is definitely scary.
Now, even without the BKB, as we said, there's so many ways that PSG.LGD can keep that PA alive. To the point that this Gyro's damage combo shouldn't really be an issue unless there's some sort of way that VP can get to the back lines. Obviously, a good Echo Stomp might be what does it. If he can catch out the supports, catch out X-Nova, and stop those save plays coming in.
Yeah, it's like we're saying, like we're talking about how VP, the lack of the front line, but they do still pack a punch. They do have a lot of damage if they can keep them controlled, for them not to get the rum off, not get the mech off. Very unlikely for that to happen, as this is a very farmed Kunkka who now has the Radiance finished up at the 17th minute mark. 17:38 as he picks it up.
A very, very respectful timing.
And now they're starting to rally. You see Ame, he's kind of starting to make his way down toward bottom, but just going to be farming, probably stanking Ancients before he does do anything else. I mean, yeah, he just needs to farm.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And they're showing themselves down bottom PSG.LGD, but VP, what's the plan there? Just focusing on pushing out that mid, pushing out that top lane. Not looking to come down for now, and in fact, it's going to be PSG.LGD wrapping around, maybe even towards the mid. Who's there at the moment? It's just the Elder Titan.
Yep.
They'll just come in and try and hold these illusions off the tier 1, keep their tower alive for now.
Right now, it's not the most natural for them to set up for plays. Like we saw in the last game when they played with the Tidehunter, they weren't able to just like walk in and take the fights. Maybe with the Invis, they can actually look to set up like that. But with the Blink Dagger, with the Tidehunter, when he's able to get down, that's when they're really going to start just running at VP, just looking to bring every single fight to them. So right now, like we said, a little bit awkward, a little bit of a low period. Both teams just continue to try to maximize the farm on the map. Yeah, Ame, Battle Fury finished. Desolator next is going to be the one that's queued up, and then more than likely going to be that BKB that he does need in the game.
It really does just feel like the power, sort of the growth of the heroes on LGD's lineup. It's sort of ahead, and it moves at a similar pace.
Top, look at this wraparound. Solo is hiding.
Ame's pretty deep. They've got the disable, and if they got the burst, they should have him here. And they do. VP, they're able to punish a greedy Ame, who pushes out alone and doesn't expect VP to still be hanging around, and that's a big pick off of them.
Solo really putting the team on his back right now in these first, with all these rotations really from himself. He was just hiding in the tree line there, waiting for somebody to step too far forward. Very nicely set up there by VPS. They're able to slow down Ame, slow down that farm, allow Ramses to get better timings than him. As he's got the Manta, the Scotties, he's getting farmed.
Growth certainly there for VP, but still yet to see no one be able to get involved in any of the action. 0-1-1 on that mid Jarrett.
All just because of that first rotation, it puts you off of making like all your moves.
Yeah, it slowed his entire game down.
Yeah. So Bounty Runes, looks like it's going to be 2 for 2, more than likely, unless Xnova really pushes forward. Xnova will. Just walks up onto the high ground casually. So they'll get themselves 3. And it still is going to be the full Aghanim, so they're going to rely a lot on Pasha for damage, it looks like, and then he's queuing up the mech afterwards. So, like we were saying, he still needs to act as that frontliner as the Pangolier. He needs armor.
Do you think for VP they feel like there is any sense of urgency, or do you feel that they're saying, well, Ramses, we've got the Ramses Terrorblade?
That's what it looks like, right? They're probably like, we have Ramses Terrorblade, we have a Gyrocopter who also scales really well, and a Pango who scales really well, and we have an ET Natural Order. The Natural Order is always one thing that we're going to have to watch, especially when you're playing versus PA, one of the higher physical armor heroes. If you are able to actually get next to him as an ET, the damage will definitely be there. But that evasion always is going to be a bit of a frustration for the Terrorblade.
21 minutes in, 7-10, 4K lead. PSG.LGD is. You really just feel both teams happy with the farming approach to this one.
Right, they're all getting good. They're all getting good pacing. They're all getting good timings of their items, right? Like Somnus is getting close to BKB. They got Blink on Chalice.
They got the Deso.
He continues farming. Deso now finished up. Maybe now we see a fight because they've got the Blink on Chalice. That was the big one last time where they're like, we don't have the greatest initiations. With that, they will. But like we said, they're approaching some big items still anyway soon. But yeah, we see them grouping up, and this is likely that smoke with the Deso. With that Blink.
I mean, Deso, PA, you find yourself on top of Solo after he's dropped out a Hex and a stun. He's dead in a couple of hits.
You get yourself 1 or 2 kills, you can just go straight into the Roche Pit. And then you're going to be playing with an Aegis advantage, and the map is going to get smaller and smaller. So let's see if they can actually catch anyone on me here. Jump forward. Roger. Is that no crits? He just died for like the regular attacks there, it seems.
I believe so. Just the damage of the Deso. It's terrifying. VP, they've got to hold themselves in the base. As PSG.LGD, they're waiting right outside.
Ramses.
He's stepped forward. There's the setup. The creeps will block it, but the Demonic Purge is down there. Try and get on top of the bottom. Chalice is in with the Ravage, and Ramses is dead. Pasha's going to look to roll forward. The BKB pop from no one. They're hunting for the easier kills. Finger onto Xnova, but Xnova will live. He's out over the trees. X-Mark's there. The arrow will whiff. They drag back Solo. Chalice, Gush, Dagger again. They're cleaning up these fights. Now that they've started to look for them, PSG.LGD, they just at a power level that's hard for VP to stand toe-to-toe with at the moment.
And the BKB is down for no, and they're committing forward for it.
They drag it back. They are going to have the ult coming down, but a jump over from Army will dodge it. Another X-Mark's there. No one's going to be dragged back towards the team as they take out the Gyro. They take everything here from VP, pushing down mid.
Ame once more.
He's not even done looking for a crit, won't get it. So Roger gets the chance to stop. But you know that Ame's going to still maybe try and chase. Now he's playing it sensible. It's Ti. He doesn't want to throw things away. Back towards mid. Pasha starting to print the rest of LGD low. A boat will come in, give some of the run to Somnus as he'll look for the TP out. Ramses, can he find him? No, Xnova. Disruption. Make sure that his 2 cores get out alive. And Xnova in a similar fashion to game 1. He'll die, but he saves his cores.
Such a beautiful smoke there coming into play there. LGD, they smoke, they get a base ward, they get all the information that they needed, all the information they wanted. They see where everybody on VP is, and Ramses just shows himself outside just a little bit too far. That Blink Dagger from Chalice able to get that clean up, all that extra damage and control. And we saw Gyrocopter, like no one, he walked in, he pops his flag, he hits like everybody with the full flag and cooldown. A mech gets popped from the Mirana, and everybody's
it really is at this point, all the damage just heal back up with that mech.
Yep. And now they're starting. Now they have the Greaves finished up too. They're starting to get BKBs as well on Somnus, and you're gonna imagine Ame will also be approaching that one quite soon. VP, they've got to make something big happen here with this smoke versus that Ravage being on cooldown. Will they be able to?
Whoa. Solo's aware.
20 seconds until Ravage is back online. VP not looking like they're going to be able to actually find anything here. Wallet is not up. So LGD, PSG.LGD will back up. They will be perfectly fine with all of this, as the next timing for them is that BKB on Ame, so they're going to keep controlling the map. And we see that base ward placed down. They feel so confident to do whatever they please.
They know they can move in immediately. And Ramsey's not getting the chance to hit a single hero in that fight. And there's, you say, flat cannon, it doesn't even look like they've been hit.
Yeah.
They're back up to full HP.
It's the combo of the both. We mentioned it during like the draft, right at the end of it there. That Kunkka versus the Gyrocopter too. The RUM was applied on absolutely everybody. So sure, Pango's coming in, he's shield crashing, swashbuckling all over the place, but that mitigation really coming in.
And when Ame has the BKB, they're not going to be able to touch him.
Really does feel like that.
He's level 20, BKB. I mean, he's got the money for it. He's got it done.
He can TP back and pick it up if they want to play it like that. Like Somnus can X him and then bring him back, but they're just going to back up, it looks like here.
They've even got the Vlads on Chalice, allowing him to get that life steal on the PA.
They're ready to fight, though.
Everything is coming together for LGD.
Yep, the perfect timing.
What do they do? What do they do?
They look like they're smoked up looking for a fight, but it's still difficult. Ramsey's like, he's got Manta, he's got Scotty, he's tanky, but as we saw in that last fight, there's just a devastating amount of control. And even if he is tanky like this, you still have to deal with Soul Catcher. You have Manta to remove it, but if you don't have your Manta up and you're Soul Catchered, you are going to be a lot squishier as they get a wraparound.
Oh, start to try and have a bit of a poke. Missile heading the way of Chalice, but immediate disengage with the Moonlight Shadow. They'll be able to find X-Nova with the combo. And again, X-Nova, he'll fall, but everybody else should get out. FY still with that Moonlight Shadow coverage to allow him to walk back to safety, and it can never feel good killing X-Nova, because then you know as VP that everything's going to plan for LGD. If it's only the Shadow Demon you've killed, you've lost the fight.
Every single time, it does seem, even every single time, not in this game and the last game, all of the situations, X-Nova.
It's just down to positioning, right? They always have the right person in place to die.
And they know how to, in that fight too, that's a bit of a difficult one. They're like, hey, we're strong, but that type of fight engaging in that area, we're kind of surrounded. It's not the best way for us to take it. Now they're getting a better type of surround here. As VP, they're split up. Ame is already prowling around with this blur, and Roger, he's spotted.
They're gonna find him.
He's gonna be a quick and easy one for them.
He's gonna try for the sum. He's not gonna get a chance to do so. With that Gush, armor reduction, Desolator, Ame can make quick work of whoever he finds.
And there's that situation we talked about. If they get one of those big kills, they can look to just commit into this Roche pit, as they will kill it super fast. And taking the fight around here for VP, sure, they've got Pango, but their ET is dead. He is the crucial one around that Roche pit. Oh, LGD, they're really running away with this one now.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a bit of a repeat of game one. Once they get the advantage, they do not let go of it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is very similar to the last one, right? They've killed Ame once, but before, they've really only killed X-Nova again. As Ramses really needs, that BKB timing for him is going to be completely necessary, but is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough for him to actually do the damage? Very similar to that last time. Sure, he's got these ways to protect himself, but will they actually be able to kill anybody on the side of PSG.LGD? As we see some, interesting, little bit of innovative item pickups. Ame, he hasn't chosen to finish it yet, but as we see, that Ags is queued up.
The Aghanim's PA.
The refresh, as you know, if you get a kill, it refreshes all of your abilities, including that blur, so you can keep hopping around inside the fights.
Blur's cooldown goes down as well.
Yep.
And Blur now, it dispels.
That is true.
It's a buff for everything. Mid lane, they get the roll in, finger out, they should get this kill. We get one. Question is, how much are they going to lose in return? Will we just solo?
That's pretty good if they're able to disengage off of that one. They forced a BKB as well from Somnus. So what the important one, I guess, is instead of wanting to go for a different another dispel, now he's going to have the blur to dispel that reflection every time inside the team fights. Can be a little bit annoying, not the super amazing, but dispelling the reflection, dispelling the disarm from the Pango, that looks pretty neat.
And it makes the blur instant.
Right? That's actually pretty cool. I haven't gotten to see it. I played
I guess what
in a competitive game.
You see a Sunder coming your way, you've disappeared.
Yeah.
They've got to have the vision ready. But I know even that, right? You're just gone.
I mean, I'm really intrigued to see it.
I mean, he's going to get it at such a good timing as well with the beginning that he's had to this star, mate.
Mid lane, no one. He's getting grabbed up. He's going to force the BKB.
That will keep him safe for a little bit. He is just going to have to TP out. He's lucky that Ame wasn't around, so they didn't quite have the physical damage. to fight through that BKB. But again, no one with these BKB usages, he's just not able to get much done at all. It's having to be a BKB and a runaway. He doesn't have the items. He doesn't have the damage. There's not a lot that he can offer to the team fight.
Absolutely true. You see, of course, more items being picked up. You know, LGD, they're picking up all these solutions. They have a Lotus Orb, not only to remove the reflection, but like you said, the Sunder. I don't know, do we know if that interaction was fixed as well with the BKB Sunder, right?
That's how it's intended to be honest.
How it works, you know, you can still Lotus Orb through the BKB Sunder, so they have to watch out for that for Ramses too.
We'll find out in this game.
We'll find if it was changed.
If it was changed. Yes, that's the correct terminology. Thank you.
For the people who don't know, of course, if you are BKB'd on Terrorblade and you Sunder a Lotus Orb, you get your HP back.
The HP stayed the same. At least that was how it was indeed in the group stages.
In the group stages, yes.
And I did test it the other day, and it was still like that.
VP, they're scanned up. They can actually find no one here. They're just throwing the boat out. They really want him. They got the vision of him for a second. No one.
Pop the BKB. TP's going to be available in a second. If it's TP straight away, he should be fine.
It's gonna be really close.
He is. He just had enough seconds left on that BKB to get out. Back inside the jungle of VP. Roger's been found, but Ramses, he's got sort of blocking off Roger there. They're going to try and turn Arme. He's got the BKB. Wants to try and fight this a little bit, or at the least make sure that he gets out. He will be fine then. Not able to again deal with these BKBs yet, VP.
Yeah, they have no BKB piercing anything, pretty much. As he plays it safe too, right? Some situations you're like, hey, I'm gonna die and just use my BKB, but he knows how strong he is at that point. He doesn't need to play like that. As this PA is solo, will walk up. He's gonna get purged.
He's got the disable onto Arme to try and get himself out of vision.
But they want blood.
It's back there. Disruption setup. In Arme goes, and a crit for the finishing blow.
12,000 gold lead, over a 15,000 experience lead, and just the Dota Plus continuing to tick forward in LGD's favor. 82% win rate now for them, as they're just keeping the map dominance.
Ramses' farm, he's still on par with Arme, but what does it amount to? What can this Terrorblade do? As all their hopes rest on Ramses.
Ooh, nice little play there by Maybe. Turns off the Radiance before the reflection actually does come out, so it doesn't even burn his teammates at all. Small little things. They slow siege.
And a successful one hit, tier 3. Falling very low with those ST illusions. They'll get it. The base is opened up and serve the shrines.
They're gonna send a missile back. It'll clean up by illusions. And Ame's Aegis will get reclaimed. Gonna back up. And they might not fully back up here, as if they see this top rune, they might look for a quick re-engagement.
Oh, that double damage. They want it. Ame.
They're trying to keep VP suffocated in their base. You see, maybe X's himself goes bottom, clears the wave, and yeah, they want to keep this fight.
Get back to the base, VP. Get back to the fountain. You cannot dare come out.
They have to find more ways to keep farming, though. VP, they have to struggle to get outside to get this, I mean, in particular, the MKB on Ramses. He needs it. He can't actually do any damage inside of the fights versus Ame until he gets that. And even then, it's still seeming so difficult for them versus PSG.LGD, as they're all rallied. Everyone just rallied together, not giving any opportunities for VP to even get a pick off. Pasha, has to be very careful now he does those type of plays.
Instant poke and the Moonlight from LGD. They're starting to build up the money again on Arme. Obviously, with just holding that DD rune, he does still have a good slot to fill.
Probably likely to be the Abyssal. Maybe he's thinking, wait till I see what Ramses is building if I need to actually go for an MKB or something like that on myself as a PA. But the Abyssal is the more than likely one for that BKB Pierce.
What about the Nullifier?
His Nullifier could also have its argument, yeah. That's a good one. There's a lot of different varieties that he can go for.
Yeah.
As now VP, they've got this timing. So let's see if they can make anything happen of it with this MKB, as they will have some damage at least to go through the PA. But they don't have smokes. I don't believe they have any available. Oh no, they have one left on Roger, sorry.
Looks like he's, at the moment, he's queued up, he's going to go the way the Bloodthorn.
Okay. I seem to really like that item lately. building up on that Sven in the last game versus a Morphling. This game, it's not as clear-cut because you're not playing versus like a Morph, but still very good versus the Terrorblade, as he can also build versus a Butterfly, and this is the way to kind of counteract both the Sunder as well as that evasion that will come out. Jump forward, kills those illusions quick.
It just really feels in both of these games, VP have been unable to make any sort of moves themselves in the second half of them. As this game, goes on 35 minutes in, it's just been pretty much nothing from VP offensively. They're just trying to get their farm to a point where they can have a chance of defending their base.
But their base is getting chunked down already. Losing another tier 3. It's PSG.LGD. They'll just continue. They're going to do the X. Quickly bring him back. Getting some tower damage as well. Arrow to scout.
How would you start this fight if you're VP?
They don't have the natural forms of initiation. Pasha wants to, but like we said, he hasn't built any armor and he now has the Vlads at least finished up, but
Ramsey's
fairly squishy. Ramsey's
He's gonna get arrowed here as he stands.
They're throwing everything.
Ramsey's dead. He doesn't have buyback. No one's trying to fight back here as he pumps the BKB. Ame himself also has the BKB ready. Jumps over. Solo's got as well. Ramsey. He was AFK.
That might be the game.
And he can't buy back. He just stood there and took FY's arrow to the face.
The drafting panel was concerned that there were no saves in this draft.
I mean,
he just gets out.
And that's a Terrorblade that spent 36-minute farming for that. He spent the whole game farming, and he gets hit by one arrow, and all that fight, it was for nothing.
And they're just gonna keep diving forward here. Pasha X'd up, he's arrowed, and he's brought down.
They're falling apart.
That just might be it. No, and he's gonna try to commit forward.
But he does no damage.
And there comes
no damage. As LGD, they've really come into this first series of the Ti9 main event with all guns blazing. Solo will jump in. He'll pop the Ghost Scepter. Pasha trying to offer some sort of damage out there. Brought back on no one.
They're on Somnus.
Solves down, and with the Splitter, they do kill off the Kunkka. They get one. They need so much more from this, though, VP. They'll find Chalice as well. They will manage to hold on, but their base has been torn apart. Bottom rack's gone, mid rack's gone. Only that range rack's in the top lane still standing.
Completely in shambles after all that. Such a big deficit, and how much gold did they all just pick up there on the side of LGD? Like, everybody's finishing up their next item.
He's ready for a bit of fun.
He's got the rapier.
He knows that this is in the bag.
So he heard our suggestions. He queued up the Bloodthorn. He's like, no. Maybe still
rapier. He's about to hit 25 as well, so he can get that triple dagger. Triple dagger with rapier. He's doing this one for the fans.
I have seen somebody else take the 10%, but we're gonna see the triple dagger in this one.
But VP though,
they're gonna get this.
They are into the Roche. And they will find it.
Arrow will connect onto Ramsey.
It is another arrow, Ramses. They can't follow it up this time. And next, Solo jump in. He gets the stun off onto two of them. Cooldown's down. No one moves forward. PSG.LGD will back off. Now Solo getting brought down low by the poison. Passion in with a jump. They managed to cut down Nike's Nova. Shadow Demon's dead. Buyback straight away. Roger on the backlines with focus. Replay for what? Get back to the game. Get it out of there. FY. He's been collapsed upon. Ramsey's 2 kills. Double kill. There's no buyback on FY.
Double gems. Pick him up.
VP had to buy back on both supports for this, but they're fighting back. Not to be held down, and you can see Vaname is not invested in the rapier because he's like, are we fine? He's saving onto his money for now. He might resort to the safe play and just go, nullify and have buyback. We'll see how scared he is.
Maybe, we'll see.
VP,
he's still feeling pretty confident.
They kick back.
They got the Aegis.
They kick back.
They got that Aegis and cheese. Very important for themselves here. But structural damage is still done, and that's while Chalice is dead. That's the big thing, right? Fighting into LGD's lineup when they don't have the Tidehunter, a little bit easier. Especially because they can get them with the numbers and just get the surround without that Tidehunter. But back to farming a little bit here for PSG.
He's saving on too many. Obviously, there's not really too much point. I guess he's so farmed that the buyback is still worth it, even if he loses a rapier. But now he's going in. He's going in, he's got the rapier.
He's got buyback available.
Now, this is exciting, because if he loses that rapier, this
game could really turn.
That could be a throw. It could be a throw. We'll see. I mean, they're feeling very confident, LGD, but there is that chance that if Arme loses the Rapier, it ends up in the hands of no one. You never know.
Or in the hands of Ramses, too. Either one of them.
Never know. But at the same time, if Chalice just gets a good Ravage,
yeah,
there'll be more than enough time for him to jump from target to target. It's level 25 PA with the triple daggers and the Aghanim reset. He's just going to be cleaning up the entire squad.
Man, if he gets this an insta kill, like 6 daggers pretty much, right? The first kill, he'll throw out another set of daggers immediately.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And if he gets a kill off a dagger, he'll be able to throw out another triple dagger right away.
And another, and another.
If he gets a couple chain kills, yep. And now he gets an arcane rune as well. So 4.2 second cooldown on dagger.
Hey, Korea. That's got an eagle song on.
Whoop, whoop. Oh, that's looking pretty dead.
That is very dead. Oh, that is an eagle song gone. That would have been Ramses. Very close to having a butterfly.
Who won't have buyback either. He has the Aegis for himself, but if he does die twice, no buyback. As they're already starting to poke and prod.
I mean, it's testament to how tanky he is. You saw him just get hit by a dagger from a PA with a rapier. Well, obviously wasn't a crit. Doesn't hurt him that much. He's got a lot of armor.
There's a lot of negative armor, though. I see like the Solar Crush. They even take the Gush talent as well, I believe. Oh, no, he didn't. That was the last game, sorry. He didn't take the Gush talent this time, but still, with Solar Crush as well as that Desolator, still a lot of magic or physical armor reduction to pierce through. But yeah, 37 armor on TB. And it looks like PSG.LGD still playing a little bit safe here, even though, I mean, I say safe, a little bit safe on the fact that the Aegis and the Cheese are on VP's hands, not in items. As, a DD rune. Having passed that 40-minute mark, we're going to be seeing DDs aplenty.
Here we go. Give him the bottle, give him the rune.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, the crowd knows that this rune, this bottle double damage.
He's already critting for 2,600 right now.
Times that by 2.
It's not how that works.
It's not how that works. Not good, because I wasn't ready to do the maths, so that's fine.
That's without the Deso put in as well. So it's 2,600, he puts the Deso in. He's probably going to be critting with the DD rune over 3,000 on if it's one of those like low physical armor heroes. Once it's the higher physicals, it's going to be a lot more reduced, but we'll see some big numbers.
Full Bloodthorn on Somnus, so we're going to see even more big numbers.
Yeah.
Crits upon crits, Solo. He's going to look for the jump in. Pasha's there. Actually hits the cliff, so won't be able to find the Xnova straight away. And it gives Xnova the time to put the disruption. The rest of LGD is moving in. Ramses in with a BKB. They'll kill off Xnova. Can they get more, though?
They're trying to disengage. He popped BKB in meta.
BKB, double damage. He'll look for the quick kill first. Solo's down. Now turns for the next. Jumps forward onto no one. Back with the high ground. He's still a little scared. As the BKB will wear off, Arme not ready to fully commit. But FY finds no one inside the jungle. Ramses and Pasha, the last two left alive as Ramses is surrounded. They'll jump forward, take him out, and indeed it's scored. It's over for VP in this upper bracket. As PSG.LGD take game 2, they take the whole series, and again, it didn't look close. This was LGD on another level. VP did not seem prepared.
No, PSG.LGD in this, I mean, they just seem to have their number. This Tide Hunter just proving to be such a problem for VP. Even though they were able to get their farm out throughout the game, one pickoff. They get one pickoff after Ramses, and they lose their entire base pretty much.
And we saw sort of signs of this from VP in the group stage. They had some series that just looked absolutely atrocious, where both games back-to-back, they were struggling to find any sort of momentum. And here on the main stage, those sort of problems, they still lie with the team.
Yeah, definitely just hitting a bit of a brick wall of LGD with this draft. Just a super comfortable one, and a last pick PA just working out perfectly for them.
Well, they're hungry to find what they felt was theirs last year. PSG.LGD is this opening series. They make it look easy enough. Off they go, walking away without breaking a sweat as they'll take this first one 2-0 against VP.
Congratulations to PSG.LGD. They have done exactly what they did 12 months ago at the International 2019 against exactly the same opponent in the quarterfinals of the upper bracket, a 2-0 win. And gents, I have to say that looked pretty easy. It almost looked like they were having a bit of fun. Too much fun, some would say, at the end with the Rapier and a double damage and some dodgy maths.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you write easy peasy in the end, and you just walk away from your table, queue into the next game. But overall, LGD's performance looked extremely good. The early game was on point. You have two best heroes in the game who can set up the arrow, Shadow Demon and Kanka with the X mark. A lot of kills with those two. And man, Ame. I mean, Ame is a crazy person.
You said it.
Getting that data.
I mean, we should explain to some of the new reviews. That was slightly risky because he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to buy the rapier, and the problem with the rapier, for those who don't know, is that it can be dropped and therefore fall into enemy hands, which could have turned the game.
And not just that, it is like one of the best items on Gyrocopter, which is the hero that they're playing against. Exactly. So you give that one away, all of a sudden this like for sure win turns into, you know, Virtus Pro walking out with the victory.
Yeah. So yeah, big kahoonies.
Yeah, I would say so. We've seen a couple players on the PA too. I think we should just make this a standard build. Why not every single time?
I'm down. Right? Let's go.
That Aghanim's pretty fun. Get a little bit of survivability and just
And
all right.
I think the biggest thing to me about it is it's like, if you're willing to go out there and risk it like that, that shows, oh man, I love it.
And you're not worried about anything.
No, you don't playing to win. That's the biggest thing. Don't play not to lose.
Usually you don't go for Rapier when you're one Raxus from Mega Creeps. There's always a better item choice, but we got to give credit to the Madman.
Absolutely. No, he wanted to go heavy on that. We should also bring in our draft panel and just check in with the three gents who are on the panel. Yeah, what did you guys make of that? I mean, fun game, right?
Yeah, it was a fun game. I actually don't think the Rapier was that jokey. I think that's like a legit strat with the Ags. Because the way that Blur works, it's like if an enemy hero gets close to you, you're visible. But if you stay far away and Blur is on 100% cooldown with Ags, you're pretty much always invisible to the enemy team unless they happen to get close to you or find you. So his whole goal was to like stay permanently invis, buy Rapier, have triple daggers, and just throw daggers until he finally gets kills, and then he can commit with BKB. It was actually a cool strat abuse that I haven't seen before.
I just feel bad. Our Zeke was over 100% confident in
but then you overflow.
Oh, integer overflow?
Yeah, so if you're over 100%, maybe there's like, we have 1% chance of winning this game. Like, oh man, why did we pick terribly?
The float number errors, Red Eye. I guess Virtus Pro will now be knocked down to the lower brackets.
Again, at the same point, I think that's the sad part about it from that. And they looked a bit lost, didn't they, gents? I see Solo come off kind of like, you know, what do I do? I don't really know what to do now. And that's not like them. That's not the kind of Virtus Pro we expect to see.
All the same face I've seen for like 4 days before.
That's
I
true.
feel like every time I passed by him in between games, it was just Solo with that blank stare.
And to think about it, like going back to the group stage and what they were doing, they lost to Vici Gaming, Lesh Rubik, then they started picking Lesh Rubik. They ended up losing to Elder Titan Gyrocopter, then they started picking Elder Titan Gyrocopter. It's always feeling like they're trying to find that next thing. And, you know, they're teams that are really good at adapting, but you want to come up with your own
But isn't that the case, though? Because you get beat down hard, and you're like, well, that worked really well. Again, we'll use that.
Yeah, but you don't want to go in with that mentality. You want to be the one that's setting the meta in a certain
And they have
place.
been for the last couple of years, and it feels strange to not see that Lacoste now.
You could see on Ramsey's face, the face of regret after he ate that arrow.
Yeah.
I don't have a buyback. They managed to bring down 5 Raxes.
And he's farmed the entire game to get to that point.
You're also having a TB with no save whatsoever, so that's kind of a big deal. And those who have TB into Shadow Demon, and also they have a lot of ways to dispel your reflection. The PA with the Aghanim Scepter, so she refreshes the Blur. Also Lotus Orbs, the Guardian Greaves, BKBs, everyone had a way to remove it.
Yeah, all right, good stuff. We're going to get more from all three men in just a moment, but let's catch up with a winning and a very happy, I would assume, FY God, who's with Casey.
Yes, FY is here. We have Helen, who is going to be helping translate. FY, congratulations. The caster said it. You're playing on another level. This is the 3rd TI that you have dropped VP down to a lower bracket. What do you think it is about these two teams when they face off?
首先，恭喜获得上场比赛的胜利。解说也在说你的水平已经比普通人高上一层了。那这是连续第三年，你们把 VP 掉落败者组。你觉得这两支战队对战的时候会有什么样一个反应
？TI7我不在栏杆内吧，然后不知道当时什么情况。TI8、TI9可能是缘分到了吧，就可能他们运气不太好吧。反正就已经这样了。
Well, at TI7, I was on LGD, and for TI8 and TI9, I think that it was meant to be, and they're a little bit unlucky, so it just turned out that way.
You came in so strong, straight out of group stage, number 1. How much of this is related to coming off of Ti9 coming so close in the grand finals. How much of this is trying to turn around and prove that you really are the best after Ti9?
小组赛你们很强劲，小组第一，你觉得跟去年的成绩第2名有没有任何关系？对，去年的成绩对你来说有没有影响？
去年肯定有影响吧，因为会让我们更加认真对待这个 Ti9，就是疼痛总会让人成长嘛。
Well, definitely affected me a lot. The results from last year motivated me more and made my entire team more serious about Ti9. Failures always make you grow.
And can you talk, before we send it back to them, can you talk a little bit about how meaningful it is for you as a team to be playing in front of the audience here in China for a TI?
对你来说，在中国打 TI 有没有什么特殊意义？有多重要？
对我来说，我的家人朋友可以在现场观看，肯定是在国外一个人会好很多吧。
Well, in China, all my family and friends are here to support me. It's definitely better than being alone in the West.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, FY. We look forward to chatting with you more throughout TI. And Helen, thank you. We really appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Yes, Helen with Casey and FY from PSG.LGD successfully winning the opening game. Just final thoughts from you guys, really, on a fairly straightforward series, Trent.
I liked how calm and cool FY was during that. Because we're fortunate, we have the duality here where we're watching our preview of the English, but we also get to see the Chinese production up there. And Ame's being interviewed. He's bouncing around up there. He's laughing. The crowd is laughing. And he just couldn't even contain himself. Meanwhile, FY's just like, yeah. Oh, that was good.
He's chill, dude.
I've done this for 3 years in a row. It feels really nice.
I'm going to say one thing only.
Yeah.
I want to change my prediction who's going to win this
one.
You can't
do that.
I mean, we have a technology. We have Valve here. I think we can.
You can't do that. Gabe's locked it down. You can't change your fantasy stuff now.
Just once. I mean, I would go with LGD.
Someone's got them.
I'm actually going to say I kind of agree. They looked really freaking good here, and anybody that goes against them, you got to prep really well because they're coming.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, gents. Quick reminder for you as well, wherever you are in the world, we'd love you to interact with us via all the usual social media channels. Make sure you're following all the official channels as well. Twitter @Dota2, over on Facebook, of course, as well, and on Instagram. Also now @Dota2, not the TI. Don't do that. Just do the Instagram stuff. Some great content on all 3 channels for social media. And we'd love to hear your comments as well. We need to switch things up, actually, here on the panel. So while we do that, we need a guided tour of Shanghai. And who better to do that than Casey and Slacks?
So we'll try it where I say something, Jake says something, and then...
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
All right. Okay, 3, 2... Hello and welcome to Shanghai.
Yeah, we've got the world's best tour guides, Dove and Eve, for us.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you here. You probably think this is Shanghai.
Yes. Isn't it?
But we have so much more to offer. We're going to show you the entire Shanghai.
Yeah, let's go back in time.
Okay. Yes.
We can just do that? Cool.
Xinchang Town is one of the older existing settlements in Shanghai. It used to be a salt field for producing salt, but because the coastline changed, people started to gather and trade here instead, forming the town. Many of the houses here are hundreds of years old, passed down from generation to generation.
Wow, so guys, probably we're gonna show you some local food. Oh, what's this?
So this is sticky tofu.
Sticky tofu?
Yeah.
你好。你好吗？我的中文不好。Yeah. Huh? Oh, thanks. Is it good? I hope it's good. Hot. So hot. It's very good though.
What's this all about? What is this? What does this mean?
These two are called 对联. 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 Yeah. It's like something we put on during the New Year, the Chinese New Year, wish you good fortune.
It's like painted on there. I don't think this is store-bought.
They handwriting it.
Yeah, and they're using the traditional Chinese characters.
Like single word means a long line.
I'm gonna pick some of these up and put it on my house.
Chenghuang Temple, also known as the City God Temple, was built about 600 years ago. The temple is located in the old city, which is still close to the heart of the city today. Here you can see the old along with the new, the past and the future.
So we're literally seeing the style from 600 years ago, but with like a Starbucks coffee on it.
I love it. It's a cool metaphor, kind of like, you know, the old and the new coming together. That to me is a lot of like kind of Chinese culture right now.
Here we are. This is the corner of the temple.
So this is the real old stuff. Everything else is like modeled after it.
Yeah, if you can touch the top, that is 600 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Can you touch it?
I don't think I can touch it. I think I could probably throw you up there.
Shanghai has been the portal to the world for China since the 1800s and remains to be one of the most modern cities of China.
What do you think is the significance to having TI here for the first time ever?
Well, first, like it's a super nice thing for all the Dota fans in China. We've been waiting for so long, you know.
Most excited to see how many different people come in for this one. You know, there's always like this roaring Chinese crowd.
Here, like the city runs very fast.
Yes.
You know?
Very fast paced.
Yeah, have you seen like Shanghai at night?
No. It's all lit up, it's beautiful.
Yeah, behind us, there's where we were just now, the financial center.
Wow, this is so awesome.
You see it in pictures, but being here live, it's something else entirely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? Make it official.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Shanghai.
3、2、1，欢迎大家来上海。
Good times on that tour, having some fun out there in Shanghai. But I found somebody who wasn't having some good times. My friend, I saw you from afar. You looked very sad, head in your hands. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sergey.
Sergey, why are you so sad? Sergey, I know why you're sad. It's VP, brother. What happened out there? What was your interpretation of that last series?
Well, I believe it was just bad luck. Bad luck? Very bad luck.
Where are you from, Sergey?
From Russia.
You came all the way here to support just VP?
No, not of course. I'm a big fan of beautiful Dota and Navi Dota.
There it is, always Navi. Anyway, so if you could have a chance to say anything to the boys from VP who just got brutally 2-0'd in that last series, what would you say? Words of encouragement.
Every fan of Virtus Pro knows that these guys shows us beautiful Dota for over than 3 years, and we all believe they can do their best and go to the very end of this tournament, no matter what mistakes happened before.
So is this the TI that VP's finally going to win?
Yeah, certainly.
Yes! All right. Well, that's one prediction from our VP fan right here. Gentlemen on panel, after that, do you think that they have a chance? I'd like to know.
All right. Well, I like the fandom. Thank you very much, Jake. And yeah, lots of big fans out there from all over the world. Not only fans from all over the world, but we have people on the panel from all over the world. We have Cap, Fogged, and the one and only Dondo, aka Dendy. How you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm great.
Do you know I am beside myself. I'm so excited that we finally get you on our panel.
Oh.
You're on Russian panels and working with the other guys, and we never get you on our panel.
I'm happy. It's my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're happy too. And we have 2 former Na'Vi players now in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Look at that.
See?
Look at that. We got a nice
bit of old Na'Vi bonding going on the panel. How you doing?
I'm good. We also got to play a game too. We also played it. We played it in the house together, and we absolutely stomped Gunner.
Ooh,
it was great.
That's not true. I got help from this guy.
No, it was all him. I knew what to do. I just played around.
Do you know, I watched him last night playing some Ogre. He was pretty good. He's pretty good last
Not the
night.
next 2 games.
See, the
Not
thing
the
is,
next 2 games. You were bullying that game I watched.
about these talent in-houses, all it takes is just identify the best player and just ruin his game as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that's
Was
what
that
Fog
Gunner?
means when
Was
he
it Gunner
says,
last night?
I knew what to do, which was he just dumpstered Gunner as much as possible by roaming into the mid lane.
Sorry, Gunner.
Yeah. How you doing, Cap?
I'm doing
great. To have you back on the panels as always.
Yeah,
Love working with you.
I'm excited to be here. I think it's always nice to be able to have like former pro players here, and I've always been jealous of the Chinese panels and the Russian panels. They always get
got
these
the
like
superstars, right?
these like former TI winners
exactly.
and such, people like Dendy. So it's super exciting to have him here.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'm happy.
I mean, we're just trying to. Here's the thing: we're trying to butter you up as much as possible, so you will come be on our panels
you come be on that panel
more
more.
often.
Yeah.
Instead of the Russian panels.
Because secretly, which is the best panel? You can tell. No one's watching right now. You can just tell us, right? It's English panel, right?
English.
Yeah.
We'll take that. We'll take that.
It's fine. It's all good. Did you get much chance to watch much of the group stage?
Yeah, I watched some games.
Yeah. What did you think? Was it the best group stage you've seen?
It was
exciting.
really, really tough. Yeah. Every team had a chance. It was close. Close on Group B, close on Group A. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
My boys Navi, for example, we went almost to winner bracket, but last days we were unsuccessful.
One game away, and they could have been in the upper bracket. So yeah, really close.
But it's not only for them. Like there's a lot of teams who were 1 game away.
Yeah. A lot of pressure on Magical because he's in your shoes. He's in the team. He's Dendy now effectively in that team. That's a lot of pressure. But he's doing really well.
He's amazing. He's doing amazingly. He have more skills in group stage or something like that.
Yeah, he's been doing very, very well indeed. What did you guys make of the group stage? Enjoy it?
I was really I didn't get to actually cast. I don't think I had to do any of the Navi games, but I was really impressed anyway because they were picking their comfort heroes and not really caring. They were just like, nobody's picking Razor. We're picking magical comfort heroes that he likes to play and stuff like that. So it was like nice to see that they're playing their own strategies and still being, very unexpectedly dominant.
Yeah, and Crystallize, I want to mention him as well, just while we're talking about Navi. It's weird talking about him as a rookie at TI, because you kind of think, he's been around forever. He's been around for like 3 years or something, and yet here he's having a great performance as well.
He's been one of those players that you just assume you're going to build a roster around. And I think that for me, I got lucky. I got to cast some Navi games during the group stage. And every year, it's like, what teams am I going to fall in love with and their play style? And for me, it was Infamous and Navi, actually. Navi just really impressed me with both those teams. They did something that is always special to see at the International. These teams are so good that these players, especially more amateur players, don't have as much experience when they come to the table and they're like, I can outplay that guy. That guy who's been to 5 TIs, you can outplay him, and that's exactly what they did. They came in with that kind of just fervor and aggression. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Dendy, you've been playing a bit of Dota, obviously in Asia this year, SEA, so you've kind of... you've seen a different region. How's that been?
It was really fun. Yeah. Actually, the C region is so much action.
It's crazy, right?
It's super competitive, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it's insanely competitive. So I know those teams a little bit. Now.
Yeah, because we're gonna have TNC in the next game, obviously. So I'm sure you've got plenty of inside info that we can glean from.
Did you feel like you learned something from your experiences, whether it was inside of Dota or maybe just outside of Dota, just exposing
definitely.
yourself to different cultures?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We stayed in a house for 2 months, like 1 month and one month again. So I learned how things going up there, and it's a different play style also, like compared to CIS.
Is it faster or slower?
It's actually faster.
Yeah.
I always
Faster
go
than
to
CIS?
Dota is always go,
Holy
go,
crap.
go, jump in, kill people, destroy. But now it's other way around. CS Dota now is much more chill, it's much more defensive, protective, and CS Dota is much more active in how I see it, at least.
That must have been really like, you never lived anywhere else besides in your home country, right? So that was the first time living somewhere else. That must have been pretty cool. Pretty
it
different.
was interesting experience. Different food, air, weather. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, nice. That's good stuff. We're going to get the teams out very shortly, but just quickly, these two teams, how do you rate them very quickly in terms of the way that they had their group stages?
Oh, man. I think I probably expected Vici to be a little bit more dominant, even though they already were super dominant, but TNC definitely came out swinging. But they also were a little bit back to their TNC style, where one game I would be like, oh my God, TNC looks like the best team in the tournament, and the next game they're almost losing 2-0 to Chaos. So stuff like that was still happening for TNC. Well, I think Vici, they still have shown their amazing caliber throughout the whole year, right? Like they've been extremely dominant with all of their players, and it's shown. It's still been shown.
You expect to see a bit more from Vici, though?
Yes, absolutely. I expected them to run a similar route to Team Secret, which is just kind of like dominate the groups, easily be first and everything. And they didn't do that. They seemed to like kind of lose control. The same kind of happened with TNC, as Fogg was saying. Like, you know, I watched some of their games and I felt like, as he said, they're like, oh, this is a fantastic team. And other times I'm just like, this is a bit undisciplined. You're kind of throwing away some of your games. And that's concerning to me, right? Because I imagine the group stage going into playoffs, like the difference in the stress levels, it's got to be high.
Okay, time to introduce you to our two teams for our second series. TNC Predator into the Mercedes-Benz Arena for the first time on the main stage, and they find themselves in the upper bracket after a good, solid group stage performance from them, backed by a man who is a TI winner. That's right, their coach, no less, is a TI winner. If anyone can help them calm down and deliver, it is the man Heen. They've got the ability. We've known that for years, but now have they finally got the strategy? We're going to find out as they go head-to-head with a team who have been in imperious form throughout the season. It is Vici. 2017-18 was an unprecedented year for Vici Gaming. The team with the silver badge had 7 second places, but this year things have changed. The silver has changed to gold as they claim major championships. They come into TI as probably the best informed team in the world here on Chinese soil to have a shot at the Aegis. They are Vici Gaming and they go head to head with TNC. Gents, I feel like this is the perfect matchup in many ways for excitement. As Dendy's already said, it's that TNC, that kind of SEA, run at you, fast-paced kind of Dota, backed by a guy who's got TI winning credentials and strategy cap as well, against Vici, who've probably been the best team.
Oh, absolutely. I think Vici Gaming, they are my favorites for this tournament. Even after their group stage, I'm hoping that they solidify things a little bit more going into the playoffs. TNC, though, something special about that team, man. They always seem to make those underdog matches work for them. They always seem to perform best when they are the ones being doubted, or perhaps in this case, hated.
Yeah, I mean, Dendy, that's the point, isn't it? Whenever you looked at the lower brackets in other TIs and you saw TNC or Fnatic or Mercedes, you're like, oh no, I don't want to play them. They're horrible. I don't like playing those kind of teams in the lower because they're dangerous. Now they're in the upper bracket. Can they be as dangerous?
They are super dangerous. Actually, about C Dota, I said it's active, but TNC, where they have one of the slowest games at the tournament, I think, by stats, which is weird for C Dota, yes. But still, they're doing really well in upper bracket, and they were like top 4 on last major. They're doing an amazing job, and I'm sure we're a really strong contender here. I'm not, for me, also, Vici is super strong team, but I see that, you know, it's going to be pretty even game.
What's it like playing with a really good coach behind you? Because you've had some really good coaches in the past. They've got Heen behind them. He's been there. He's done it. He knows how to win a TI. That must be really good for them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he added a lot of some experience and insights and stuff like this.
Calm them down a little bit.
Discipline.
Discipline. That's a good word. Yeah, very good word. I mean, it makes a difference though, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I always, you know, people are always talking about TNC now and they're mentioning Heen a lot, but I really have to give a lot of credit to the 2 supports because I feel like they do get left behind in the dust a lot because they have these flashy players. They have Armel, they have Kuku, they have these young rising stars and everything like that. But AU, this guy, as soon as he joined this team, I feel like they completely switched. He's been such a mental player. He works so well around the map. Same thing with Tims. We saw that unbelievable performance from him during the group stages. So
fantastic.
You can never look over their supports as well. So.
And his story is amazing, right? Like, I actually did not know because his birthday isn't online, but apparently he's 27. Like, one of the easily one of the oldest players coming out of the Southeast Asian region. But add on to the top of that, right? He approached TNC not to be a player, not to be their coach,
just to help
but
them
to be
out.
their analyst. And then they were like, this guy's good. Let's make him our coach. And then from there, they're like, let's make him our captain. Let's have him play on our team. And I think he's doing fantastic work. It's just another one of those stories,
There's
right?
still hope for you, Cap.
Absolutely. That's why I'm so fired up right now, because maybe I can go back, baby. But no, it's like, it reminded me of the Seb story, you know? From, you know, washed up player, just a smart guy about Dota, but can't really click the buttons, and goes into the game and shows that he can actually bring his team to victories.
Let's turn our attention to Vici. I've said they're the best team of the year. This, you know, this half of the season, if you like, if we're talking 18, 19, since January, they've been the best team.
There's like a lot of things to talk about with Vici, right? I think you could hear the roar from the crowd when Yang gets announced, of course. Like, you look around, people are wearing Yang hats and everything too. He's super popular. Talked to a lot of the pro players, and some of them are saying, this guy might be the best player in the world at the moment, stuff like that. I also want to focus, I also do like to focus on supports, but DY is actually my most improved player of the entire year across
you
any
think
team.
back to the start of the season.
He was, I mean, we used to,
it was horrible.
Like, me and Trent would be watching, and he would die.
Exactly,
all the
let's
games.
just be absolutely plainly honest about it, because I think we can be. He was horrible at the start of the season.
His 5 position went from pretty much being like one of the worst, if not the worst, to being like top 2 of 5 positions right now in the international. So he is definitely one of the most improved players for me.
What about Ori's improvement as well, right? Like, you have 2 players on that team that have just done tremendous things over the last year. For Ori, I would say it's more like a year and a half, 2 years. But that's like just a really impressive story, and it goes to show that maybe some of the mentality that Ori and Paparazzi have as kind of the core elements of the team, they bring something different, right? This is a team that I see yelling at each other nonstop, but they've never, you know, for this season, they've stayed true to what their roster is, and they've had great performances. So maybe something about that works.
Yeah, and Dedi Paparazzi, he's been around for a long time now. He's such a great 1v1 player. You know,
yeah, he's amazing.
Huge player in China, obviously very popular here as well.
He can play mid, he can play carry.
Right.
He's a perfect teammate.
Yeah, and now he's got great teammates around him, though. Finally, he's in a team where he's not maybe... Like, Yang's taken a lot of popularity right here in China. Ori, obviously, very big out here. So now he's surrounded by great players.
You should give credit to everyone, because when I watch Vici games, I'm amazed every time. There's always a lot to learn about them. We move as a unit, we work as a unit, we do things together in perfect fashion. It's just an amazing team.
And they're less boring than they were. I want to be honest about this. They weren't my favourite team 12 months ago. They were a bit... I use the word methodical.
Paul doesn't like when people control the map.
No, it's not that at all. It's just, you know, it's like, move in. Let's go in, guys. Oh, we've got a tower, back off. Oh, we've got one racks, back off. We've got the other racks, back off. Get a shrine. Like, come on, finish the game. And then they were a bit... They were too methodical, right? But they seem to have... They've taken the best bits of that, added some aggression, added some fire, and now they're a great team to watch.
Wouldn't you want to be like that too if you made a mistake and you go back to the room and you're like, oh God, ROTK, what's he gonna do to me? Oh no! So come on, you got to understand their discipline.
That's true. Yeah, if you got ROTK back there, I don't want to mess up at all.
Yeah, and to think about it, right? Maybe that's exactly because you now have players as opposed to last year where you just had Paparazzi and Ori. Now you've got like somebody like Yang who is just as willing to yell back, right? And I think that kind of aggression that he has in his personality can translate through to the game.
What's that like, Dendi, playing in a team? Because I always imagine you're a passionate man, you're emotional, but have you had teammates that yell at you and you just feel like, shut up?
It depends. Always different teams, but maybe if I would play with ROTK, or ROTK would be my coach, he would probably give me yelling lessons.
Yes.
And when I would yell at people all the time.
And then we'd have angry Dendi.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine. No, that's not possible.
It's very good when you're angry at enemies. Of course, it's...
Of course, yeah. But what about in team, though? How do you cope if someone's really loud in a team?
I think...
Is it okay?
You can be loud, but then you should still stay friendly and friends, you know, and no one should take it personal or anything like that. then it's okay. Yeah.
Has that happened to you though? Have you been in a team where like someone's really loud and you just want them to not be loud anymore?
Well, we can go loud. Of course, it happened many times, but when we would be happy loud,
Okay.
Scream something not so good, but in a happy way.
Okay.
Oh, I remember watching Ti9. I remember watching Na'Vi and just yelling at their opponents. That was actually such that was like the first big like psychological play.
It was so much fun. We had like mirror right in front of us, and enemy right in front of us.
That's what I was thinking.
You guys got the kill, and you guys would all stand up, and then you would sit down real quick.
We would hit table, we would shake everything up.
Did you bang the table because it vibrated in the room?
Yes,
right?
yes. If we do a kill, we hit table.
Denny and the boys were the first OG. They were the first chat wheelers.
Yeah.
Before it existed.
Yeah, before chat wheelers even had. What do you spam now? What do you spam?
What do you spam now?
Yeah.
Резать.
I learned what it means now.
Cut, or slash.
Oh, okay.
It's when Sven coming up with big gun, ultimated.
He taught me that one the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, we were spamming a couple of times. He's like, do you know what that means? And I'm like, oh, well, now I do.
Perfect.
It's a good one.
You learn something every day in Dota.
You do.
As well as life. You learn in Dota as well. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Which way do you think this goes?
Vici Gaming.
Yeah?
I have no problem jumping into the spot. I think TNC is going to be a strong lower bracket team. I have them going a bit farther through that lower bracket, but Vici Gaming, for here, I think they're just too big of a beast. Again, the biggest problem for me is the fact that TNC, like some of the breaks that I saw, some of the mistakes that they made in the group stage, I'm concerned that's going to continue in the playoffs when things are just, there's even more pressure on them.
That's the problem, Dendy, isn't it? Inconsistency for TNC, because they were a bit up and down in the group stage. And when they look good, they look amazing.
In group stage, we actually took at least one game from every team except Mineski, which probably know them really well.
SCA.
Yeah.
SCA derbies, they always end up weird.
But for me, I don't know. It was a really, really close games. I expected it to be like 50-50, but the edge would be on Vichy's side just because they're crowd favorites, and obviously a lot of cheering will be.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this room. Obviously, all Vici biased, I'm sure.
I'd have to also,
I'm going to ask it slightly different to you, Fog. What did TNC have to do in this series in order to overcome Vici?
I think the one thing is that if they have like a certain strategy that's hasn't really been revealed too much for themselves, that's probably one of the best ones, because I think the TNC is going to do a lot of homework. They have Heen. He's going to come back and he's going to be like, all right, let's bring out the book. Let's see what Vici's done throughout the whole year at each thing. So I think you have to bring something new to the table, because I do think that TNC some of the times they have been a little bit. It's weird calling TNC a little bit predictable, but with their drafts, you can understand what they're looking for and what they're trying to do. So I feel like they have to bring something extra to the table, at least in that essence, versus Heen.
Okay.
And when it comes to play inside the game, I think a lot of that is going to come around the Tims, which is where some of the slower elements that Denny was talking about, right? These 4 positions that they bring out, like the Earthshaker and Enigma, these like really big team fighters that can beat them, that can beat Vici Gaming in the late game. Like, he's going to have to come through clutch, because I think there's going to be a large chance of Vici Gaming take control at first 20.
Okay, so that's what they've got. Dendy, agree, disagree?
Yeah, I kind of would like to see Team Smirana. Yeah.
Team Smirana, yeah.
Okay.
Team Shaker, Team Spirit. Yeah. Those are the 3 that I'm looking for.
I was going to actually talk about Mirana a little bit. It's quite a bit of support Mirana now.
Yeah,
last game,
this hero actually have really high win rate at this tournament. Yeah, it's doing really well. It's randomly came here after last small meta patch, and here it is. We see a lot of Mirana, and it's very successful.
Yeah.
I think it's like the 4th most picked with like 60% win rate or something. Yeah. It's like crazy that any hero that could be that popular also hold that kind of win rate.
It's flexible, right? I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is like when you open it, it's like you can still run it mid, you can still run it even like I don't think I saw a carry one, but we saw mid and we saw 4 position at least picked up.
Yeah, so. And I think Moon is whenever you see Moon playing, you're thinking, oh, well, Mirana might come out in this particular game because he's so good on it. So, yeah, it can be a bit of a flex pick, I guess. Vici, on the other hand, what have they got to be careful about in this game? What would they not do for TNC?
I think the biggest thing is making sure that they win their lanes against TNC. Making sure, for example, that if they sacrifice Cuckoo, really shut down Cuckoo's game. Right? Especially if they give him like the Cuckoo Bat Rider that he's so good with. Like, make sure he doesn't actually have the game punish the fact that they're sacrificing a little bit and trying to secure their safe lane more. I've seen TNC do that a couple times and somehow Cuckoo walks away. Like, he's half half the time he's solo, but he still walks away like he's been dual laning the entire time. He walks away with that kind of farm. So make sure he doesn't have a good game.
Cuckoo's the one he's definitely the one I'm concerned about that I think Vici's going to address. Before when I was saying, I messed up saying it before I was saying that Heen was going to do homework, none of you guys corrected me. I was waiting for you guys to make fun of me, but I meant ROTK. It's okay.
It's fine. We've got your back, buddy.
I caught myself after I said it all, but yeah, I think that's the one that I'm worried about is that Cuckoo, I think I've only really been seeing him play like his Sand King and his Bat Rider.
Yeah.
So he needs to find some more variety.
Couple more in there. Dendy, what does it have to be careful of?
I don't know. I think we should just play their own game and
not worry about TNC at all?
Not worry about anything, but their own game. Just focus on what we want to do and keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, gents. That's it from our panel, but we need to bring in some experts. So let's head over to our expert panel for the draft.
Vici Gaming versus TNC Predator. Game 1.
I thought we were bringing in some experts, but Gunnar, I hear you got stomped in an in-house. What's going on here, man?
You know, Fogged, he tried his best and he ruined my game. Nothing you can do. I was also against a TI winner, Dendy.
True.
I'm not a TI winner.
But you two are playing in the same region now. Grant, this man exported himself out of North America. Did you disavow him?
I did not. Gun Daddy here. He's still cool. He's repping us over there, and I appreciate that, especially, TNC on the line. We'll get the inside scoop now.
Yeah. You got the C region info.
A spy. Is that what you're saying?
Indeed.
Okay. Deep cover Gunner. I like it. We're here. It's the second series now of the main event. Already.
Quick.
And it was a fast first game as well. Virtus Pro just looked completely lost. And what a way for LGD to solidify the Chinese crowd behind them, getting a rapier. Now it's up to Vici Gaming to see if they can follow up a performance like that.
Yeah, and I think it should be a pretty good series. I'm surprised the panel actually took Vici Gaming right there, but pretty convincingly. I thought TNC actually looked reasonably well in the group stage, and they talked about it on the panel, as you see the draft, that it's these heroes, these team fighters, they have the longest games in some of the tournaments, and that's because these Earthshakers and Enigmas they're picking, they don't mind scaling into the late game with heroes like that, and I think we'll see a lot here.
Yeah, a lot of the team focuses around Tims, I think, in the early game to mid game. He picks these, like they said, Earthshaker and Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
He's always gets these Blink Daggers and these big initiations, so I'm looking for TNC to draft some big hero for him.
Yeah, and I like the Chen ban. AU, he has been he's one of the few people keep challenging him. They're like, you know what? Let's give him the Chen, and then all of a sudden you gave him a Chen, maybe you give him an Alchemist, and you're like, oh, what have we done? So
yeah, it spirals out of control quickly whenever you give these teams their comfort heroes, and also when you give teams heroes that have just been very irritating. Enchantress has been one of the most hated heroes in pubs. Yes. How do you kill this hero? But I guess maybe it's magic damage, Gunner?
Yeah, so Enchantress is really not good because she has a lot of healing in the early game with her Nature's Attendance.
Correct.
So when you pick an AA, you stop her healing. It's a lot of heroes like Juggernaut or Lifesteal with built-in magic immunity are really good at piercing through or untouchable. So maybe they pick something like Juggernaut here if they want to pick their carry early. That hero's kind of weaker, I think. Gyro's another hero that's good against her. His Rocket Barrage goes through untouchable in the early game.
Yep. Sand King, kind of the same thing. It's all magic damage. You stun in, you Sandstorm, you cast an ultimate, you got to just blow her up right there. And I like two of the bans on the side of TNC. I was going to bring them up. It's Ogre as well as the Tide Hunter, and those heroes, just Vici Gaming, they will always take it. They're one of the few who's only really running it in the 3 position, and just get rid of it. That hero is such a nuisance.
Yeah, we saw the Tide Hunter bring LGD great success in Game 1. Clearly, it's a regional favorite, but we're seeing a lot of different stuff coming out. Magnus being picked up now by Vici Gaming.
A lot of the Chinese teams like Magnus more than the other regions. I think LGD picks it a lot for FY. They play a little slower than the other regions, I think, but they get the slowness helps them with the Empower. Their carry always is going to be top of the net worth. It gives them team fights in the mid and the late game, so I like it. It also lets them contest TNC. If Tims goes a more greedy hero like Earthshaker as a 4, the Magnus is also going to get a blink, and his carry is going to get farm. So
I'm curious, because don't they usually play Yang on the mag? They're one of the few teams who really likes playing it on the 3. And you have an Enchant, I'll be honest, I love both these heroes as a 3 way more than, say, Enchant as a 5 or the mag as a 4, but I'm curious, because Enchant, she's a lane stomper. You know what she's going to do. Meanwhile, Magnus is a little bit different. Maybe you get a skewer on the tower, but you're just trying to survive. So if they do play it as a 4, you know, here you go. You're the buff bot.
Trying to survive, and then, yeah, just trying to get levels. So what is going to be the pairing for this Magnus? You want to find someone to empower. You want to make sure you enable your carry to accelerate very quickly, which is why Vici Gaming ban out the Alchemist. They want to make sure that no other carry can keep the pace of a hero that has empower.
Yeah.
A nice thing about this Magnus pick and the Enchantress is that Enchantress can solo her lane really early on.
Okay.
And a lot of teams like to run Magnus in a tri-lane.
Assuming that it's going to be a 3
Assuming it's a 3 Enchantress and a 4 Magnus.
Which I hope it is.
Yeah, the Magnus can get early boots. He can skewer into tower with another stun from the 5. So a tri-lane with Magnus is a lot stronger than doing dual lanes, I think. So it's kind of a really nice combo that they already have.
Yeah. You're already scared though, right? You have an enchant and a mag, and then you look on the other side. You just have this AoE burst damage. Like just in 2 heroes is AA. So you definitely need someone survivable again. I mean, how do you feel about Jug this tournament?
Jug's been a really weak hero. They've nerfed, I think, really small. The past couple, like 3-4 patches, they removed his early game agility. They removed 5 movement speed, I think. They removed 10 or 15 damage from each level of blade mail per second.
How are you going to talk bad about one of Hector's favorite carries? It's Wraith King and Juggernaut all day, every day, and he's been cleaning up on those 2 heroes.
It is, and I feel you do need, honestly, a hero like that. Like Jug, obviously, with the spin, the magic immunity, and then Wraith King, right? You commit onto him, at least you have a full nother life. It's so hard to take a hero like that down, and maybe they will on Vici look to do a hero like that.
And they actually ban out their own Sven, which was a potential for Vici Gaming. Again, you're looking for combinations with this Magnus and power to speed up and accelerate the farm of a carry.
I could see a hero like Troll Warlord right now.
Okay.
For the side of Vici Gaming, it matches well with the Magnus, and as well, you don't die in ult to the AA blast.
Right. If you're in battle trance, you won't shatter.
Yeah. So it's a little like Shallow Grave. It gives you an extra, you know,
little bit of time.
Yeah.
You never know. Just survive, get a kill. I mean, we saw Ortiz rampage with just 1 extra second. Like honestly, something like that against an AA is that important. And I'm really surprised they ban out those 2 heroes. It says to me, as you brought up Tsunami, Alk and Sven both are 2 of those heroes that do speed the game up quicker, and obviously they don't want that. You want this mag, empower, and do your own thing. Oh, a Tiny.
Tiny's been one of TNC Predator's favorite heroes of the group stage, and overall just a really solid hero that we've seen any team pick. It's just, I see an immense amount of magic burst damage. I would be terrified if I'm this Enchantress right now.
The Tiny Axe is really good against Ench in the mid game as well. You don't get attack speed slowed, a lot of physical. Ench does have low armor, but you can't hit her normally. But having the ability to do physical damage without having to hit her is really good, I think.
So if this was like a team secret draft on the side of TNC, I would have no idea which hero is playing well. We could see like mid AA, we could see 3-position Sand King. Based on TNC, which way are you leaning towards the AA, Sand King, and Tiny being played?
I think AA 5, Tiny 4, Sand King 3.
Okay.
They don't play mid Tiny, do they?
I don't believe they do. I mean, it's like Mineski, right? Moon's like the biggest one, but I don't think TNC really plays that much.
I know OG plays it. Thompson played mid Tiny, I think, once or twice in the group stage.
Do you know what they played it against? Sorry, I'm trying to think like if it's just like a matchup kind of thing, or...
I think Thompson likes it here. I believe he's like gold rank too, so he plays it.
He's like, just give me it. I just want to burst. I want to set that record. I want to get a lot of kills. Yeah. And I was curious, what do you think about that DP last ban? Why do you ban a DP against a team who has mag? Like, does that say anything about what you're going to pick for middle?
It could kind of push the Tiny more towards mid, because since he has really high health, the DP can siphon him in the mid game and kind of control him, but I think it's more for the Lifestealer.
Okay.
DP matches really well against Lifestealer all stages of the game. Late game, at 25, you'll get a haste talent, so Lifestealer can never catch you. But even before that, the spirits go through rage. You can kind of kite the Lifestealer, you know, make a fight a little slower, get through rage, silence him, and kind of burst him.
And even beyond pushing Tiny towards or out of mid, you also need push on towers. Death Prophet would have been a great hero, because Vici Gaming kind of lacking in the ability to take structures right now, because TNC Predator have amazing wave clear. How are you going to ever make your way to a tower and actually start dealing damage to it?
And even just like the group up factor, right? Like if you look, cool, they have a mag, reverse polarity's fun, but then you have a Witch Doctor and Enchant. It's not like, yo, we're ready to just go and team fight you.
But they'll be able to heal, right? Oh,
they will.
Wait.
There's
an Ancient Apparition on the other side. What are you going to do?
Why did they take that Witch Doctor? I'm thinking now. Obviously, they enjoy the hero, nice multi-stun. If they do like a tri-lane, Witch Doctor level 1 is pretty good.
True.
And there it is, the Jug. Okay. I think you had to do it versus the A, and you have the Empower, and you're going to be able to ramp up extremely quick.
Yeah, they banned I think Sven could have been a good pick if they didn't ban it.
Yeah.
It matches fairly well against the Lifestealer, and that's one of the few heroes right now that wants to go BKB early and is melee. A lot of the ones are like Gyrocopter goes BKB early this patch, but they need a melee hero for this, and Empower. So I like the Jug.
Just a hero that's going to have to be very, very careful about how he uses that spell immunity. Both carries have that sort of option.
That's what Ti9 does, right? Ti9 just makes you, it really does, once he gets that blink dagger, it just makes you think, like, is he behind me? Where is he at? You always have to know where he is on the map.
I got a question, Gunnar. Why do you think that the Shadowblade Tiny build died out so heavily? Is it because this Aghanims has kind of taken precedence, or just Blink Dagger's too good? Because Tiny's a hero that's been competitive for an extremely long time, so many builds, and right now we're seeing like a very, very pop-in, do a bunch of damage, very flashy Tinys.
Shadowblade in general has gotten a lot less popular. A lot of teams are playing a lot more fast, a lot more together. And the Shadowblade playstyle was like the Slark's Shadowblade playstyle, where you'd Shadowblade in, he'd find this Crystal Maiden, kill a Crystal Maiden, and then walk away as well.
The assassins.
Yeah, so a lot of Dota, there's no more assassins. The assassins are more in a team fight, you jump the backline. You don't find a solo hero anymore. That's kind of, a lot of teams have improved, I think, over the past couple years. So I think Shadowblade kind of, as well, people are playing more detection, more dusts, even gems for no invis to just deward.
That's true.
So
I was just surprised that whenever Sentry Wards got limited, I thought that, oh, maybe this makes invis heroes a little bit better, but it doesn't seem to be the case. And especially since TNC have a Lifestealer on their team, you want to make as many blink vehicles as possible, be it either the Sand King or the Tiny.
They ban Kunkka, that gives them, it's more team fight. I think they're banning a lot of team fight right now.
I mean, they need it. Like, they need somebody to group up. Someone who can, like, rotate now. None of these heroes rotate. Enchantress wants to sit in the lane. Mag wants to empower the Jug. Witch Doctor, I mean, it's a Witch Doctor. Like, you're going to be lucky to get boots at 5 minutes kind of thing. They need someone who can move around the map, and Kunkka's the best one from the mid line.
I really like the last 3 bans from TNC. The Kunkka, Death Prophet, Ember, all of them match really well with the Magnus, and then it gives them this early game team fight. All 3 of them. So I think TNC has really nice bans against Vici.
I'm just baffled at the Vici picks. They've picked 3 heroes who really like to heal.
Yeah.
Juggernaut with the healing ward, Witch Doctor, and Enchantress, and now they're going to wrap it up with what is most likely a mid Lina for Vici Gaming.
I like it. I mean, you should be able to dominate lane. Obviously, TNC has the last pick. We'll see what they want to take, but you have someone who can move around. You have someone who can actually burst down. Maybe the lifesteal, you hit a stun from Fog, you get the Laguna off. You do have the ability to now kill that lifestealer, which is nice.
I could see them.
You're tanky.
Yeah, I could see TNC picking a 4 here and putting Tiny mid.
Okay.
It matches up well against the Lina. You have a lot of HP, so her nukes don't do a high percentage of your health, and you can kill her the whole mid game. Once you get your blink, she dies. She doesn't get HP that much. I think they could pick Rubik. I think could be a decent hero, and maybe Earthshaker. Both of them are on ban. Tim's really likes those type of playmakers in the mid and late game.
Is there a way Alina just destroys like a Tiny in the laning phase? Like, you get the stun, you get a couple of the creeps, and you just out harass them, or no? Eventually Tiny will just catch up.
Yeah, because I would assume that Lina having such high range and Tiny having to go back to get a tree every 5 seconds would make it pretty Lina favored. But
a lot of the time you get boots really early on Tiny, even some mid start boots as a mid laner, which is kind of unheard of for other heroes. They get into range, they just toss combo. The Lina will lose like 60% of her health. A combo for Tiny from the Lina, he'll lose like 15, 20, 30, maybe max, and he can just salve up.
That's
It's more like the mid game, I think. A lot of Vici Gaming's heroes are squishy, and if he goes mid, I think this Ags build, this Blink Echo Ags, is really nice.
Yeah. And it is the Queen of Pain.
They're going to go traditional. It's Queen of Pain versus Lina in the mid lane. Really curious to see how this one's going to shape up, but I'm going to give it to someone who will know a little bit better. It's the Banana, it's the Slamma, it's the Jamma, it's BSJ.
This game, I think we have a classic hold the fort for Vici. They have Empower, and the only problem I have with an Empower lineup is if you lose too many objectives so that you don't have enough space on the map to farm. But I feel like they have a lot of kill potential and burst on TNC, but they don't have the best tower taking potential after they get those kills. So I feel like they're going to have to get too many kills on TNC in order to close off the map for Vici. So I'm going to have to favor the Empower lineup. But if TNC is able to apply that aggression and turn those snowballing kills into more objectives, I think they'll have a great chance of taking this. I'm going to give it over to Toby Wan and Cinderin. Take it away.
You know, it's a beautiful time when BSJ is sitting there saying, you know what, TNC's got to be aggressive, because that's exactly what we want to see, Sind.
Yep, it is, and this game is definitely a clash of styles. Vici Gaming, toward the end of the groups, I want to say, started playing a little bit slower in some of their games, and they've taken this style into this game. And I share a lot of the reads and thoughts of the panel and BSJ here as far as what the strengths and the weaknesses of each lineup are. And my biggest concern for Vici Gaming is, how do you find fights? You have your catch is skewer, and Cask.
It's almost like we have to go back to the older Magnus. Was like, I blink instantly RP and then skewer back.
But he's a position 4.
He is a position 4.
It takes a while to get those items out. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, I think, for him to get these things done in the game. And when you look at TSC's lineup, it's the other way around. They have plenty of ways of starting fight. They have a Ti9 who's probably going to get a dagger. He is position 4, so also a bit slower, but Sand King is a great catch. Yep. They have the Infest into Queen of Pain that can potentially jump the backlines and get kills. But at the same time, maybe slightly playing on a timer, not too good at taking towers.
Yeah, but that's what TNC always plays like. You got to have them being aggressive. This is what it is. Just run forward. We have our combinations for kills. The timing as well doesn't also seem to be limited. Like, you don't have to wait for the infest before you go for a kill. The draft panel was talking about this tri lane that they could actually get away with running if you want to get up in the face of Vici Gaming. If you want to try and restrict this area, the Vici needs to farm up, needs to be able to control to make the most of that in power. So
there's so much. I'll let them release.
Yep.
Okay,
right.
We're good.
Out of the system, or it's just on cooldown for the moment.
There we go. So yeah. As far as TNC's game goes, because of the nature of how their lineup works with being very kill hungry and having a lot of stuns and fighting potential in team fights, and Vici being a little more lacking in that department, a lot of the time games like these get very decided in the first 10 minutes, because if the team that has all this catch and all this aggressive potential gets rolling, and the other team can't fight back, sometimes the game they just run out of steam really quickly. Vici Gaming, we had a game with that with their mag where it started losing map control. On the other hand, if Vici Gaming's laning goes well, TNC can't punish as hard as they want, and then all of a sudden you have a free farming Magnus or a Jugger with Empower, which you have to deal with. So,
yeah. So they can't let him have that space. They've got to really try and control Vici Gaming. The first battle for the runes is going to be, well, probably not that much of a fight. Tims isn't really going to have a battle against Vici Gaming on the bottom lane, and there will be the contest by Cuckoo, as well as AU, which Paparazzi will have nothing to do with. So again, it's just that one floater around the runes. But is it going to be a straight 2-2 trade?
Yep.
So we actually get tri-lane versus tri-lane for the moment. This is how everything always starts. How long do you actually hold this? Like, if you're Vici Gaming, like how fast do you pull the Magnus back?
I think they're just not... I'm not sure they're getting what they want here.
Well, they're body blocking the way for the Radiant side, and they're letting theirs go.
Yeah, that's pretty standard nowadays, because what will happen now is this wave will push at the bottom lane. It will push into Enchantress, and she can play control on her side of the lane. But TNC, I think, did the right thing here. You put the Sand King bottom, you get the supports to just stay top and give Lifestealer a good start, and then eventually you can start making some moves. TNC Tims is already moving around. And Sand King is one of the better heroes at dealing with these aggressive tri-lanes, because you can hide in the Sandstorm, you can buy this Quelling Blade right now, put down a sentry when they sentry. If you eat their sentry, they can't kill you. And I think there's only one sentry in play here for Vici Gaming, only one on DY, as Magnus is already left and is going top to help Yang after the switcheroo.
They both were holding it, but you're right, it's moved off that bottom lane. Still wait for the time for it. Tims and Darmel trying to play against Ori. Normally it's meant to be a little aggressive early on, especially with the Tims Tiny. Always looking for the right opportunity to attack. Same time, Gabby. Greatest thing about a Lifestealer, you've got so much to stay in your own lane up on that top, so you're going to be okay. Especially with the help from Ancient Apparition right behind you.
The lane gets tricky for Lifestealer when Enchantress hits 6. If she hits it early and Lifestealer doesn't have total free farm, but the free farm aspect is probably in play. It's an Ench Magnus lane. It's very weak. Ench is strong by herself. Magnus doesn't really contribute very much, but he needs to get experience somewhere. So he's just
Tims. He's trying to kill off DY. That's not going to work, though, but almost did.
Cute. Cute try.
It's like the worst creeps as well that you can be thrown into, the Ancient Prowlers.
Yeah. But yeah, Lifestealer will be okay happy up here. I think the challenge for Vici Gaming in their safe lane is to get Yang 6 as soon as possible without giving Fade no game on the mag. So every minute he will pull this camp, more than likely. And if Ench can get 6 in the meantime while he's doing this, they will end up winning this lane, which has a Magnus in it. If you win your Magnus lane, you're generally very, very happy with that. Doesn't even have to be a huge one. Even a draw most of the time when you have a support mag is a great outcome.
Just talking about winning the lanes. The one you're talking about before is like SK can hide inside the Sandstorm and farm on bottom lane. Hasn't had to use the Sentry and Quelling Blade, and hasn't even really got that much CS. He's 5-0 against the 15-4 of Paparazzi. I was expecting Paparazzi to have a pretty good game. Like, Juggernaut hasn't really been the most popular of heroes, but Paparazzi, I don't think there's been a single game where you've said he's performed poorly. And he's going to make this Juggernaut work, especially in the early.
Yeah, I used to have, when you think back 1 year, I used to consider Paparazzi one of the more unstable carries in his previous composition in the team. Would sometimes overextend, would make reckless decisions, get killed too much for a carry. I think he has improved a lot lately and really bumped himself up to the top of the list of the best carries in the world. Just mainly, it's not really his mechanics that have improved that much, it's his decision making. He just understands the map better, knows the limits of his heroes better. And it's showing in their results this year for Vici Gaming.
I feel like I also, like on both of these teams, this is the supports that make space for a lot of these cores too. Like, DY's been having a great time, but here comes your toss. It's Tim's going to work very early on. Paralyzing cast make it difficult to move forward. The Avalanche buying space, combining with the Barra Strike. This will be first blood. Going the way of Gabby. Paparazzi, there's no real way he can intimidate them to get off his support.
That's great news for Gabby to get the kill. 300 gold, it's the same as 6.5 creeps. Now you're going to have the swap going around, so Sand King will still stay bottom for now, looking to pull. And I guess he's waiting to see what Vici Gaming's rotations are. Now that Enchantress has TP'd bottom, they might want to swap something around again, and that looks to be the case. Gabby is now starting to run across the map while Sand King stays bottom to face the Enchantress.
Tim's going to go towards mid. Shadow Strike out, already line strike away from Ori, connects on Armnell. Thanks to that regeneration, who's got all the mana and the health to fight this one. Even the help coming in from AU. Now they may even get more. Tim's has got tossed back. Magnus arrived to go for a quick skewer, grabbing Sue with the paralyzing cast. Tim's as well as AU have to separate themselves up, but look at Armel. Blinked underneath the tower, kills off Fate, copping a hell of a lot of damage, but they've got 3 heroes here. TNC as one. They push underneath the tower. TP support's coming in. Maybe now it's a little too deep from Tim's.
As one, they feed the Tiny in the trees. Didn't get the toss that he wanted there on the Witch Doctor. A melee creep came in the way, so Tim's could not get the target that he wanted. But at the very least, they were diving with the chat wheel active, so looking to be in good spirits.
It's what you want to see if you're a TNC fan, right? Like, they're getting in there, they're fighting hard. It may not always make total sense, but that's how you topple one of the strongest teams in the tournament.
I like the mindset, though, that they're just trying to put the pressure, right? They're... Even though that was an overextension, the idea of playing this hard aggression and just keeping on cycling your cooldowns to get bonus kills, I think is a good approach. You don't want to just sit back and chill, and they've made some good laning adjustments by ensuring that the Sand King is playing against Enchantress, so Lifestealer has a better time. But Lifestealer against Jugger lane's completely fine. They're both going to farm. If Jugger gets some kill potential with a spin, you just rage it off, and you're completely, absolutely safe and sound, so no problem there. Vici Gaming, however, are still the ones with the early lead. They've just got the better gold out of their lanes overall, mid lane.
Ori's being attacked, so will Elgato. AU's going to run straight past him, looking for the primary kill onto the Lina. Toss him up, throw him down. Okay.
He's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Confirmed dead.
Confirmed.
And they did this with the Siege Creep alive too. They might want to keep this alive, but they can't do it. There's no additional creeps, no glyph. And this will not turn into any tower damage. Something to keep in mind, as we've talked about, this team doesn't have the best pushing potential, so you really need to play around those catapults. And the gank timing was good, but the wave was dead.
We're going to go again.
Lina nuked it out.
Wait, hang on. There's a sentry ward down. Tim's is... he's playing because he thinks he has the advantage with the extra information, but Fate's here. DY will start with the Maldic, skewer him over into Ori, combining with the Laguna Blade. Tim's, man, I know he wants information. I know he feels confident, but that Maldic pop is going to finish him off.
And yeah, he wants to get in here. He wants to get information in the enemy jungle because obviously you're playing against the Magnus and Power lineup. They're going to be stacking camps for the Jugger to farm later. And while Jugger is farming and playing defensively in the jungle, the Enchantress can just play super aggressively in lanes because she's so hard to kill. And that's a nice balance in this lineup, is the pressure that can come from that hero as well as the Lina pushing out waves to keep TNC having to go back and defend and clearing up, giving them that space.
Here they go again with the Observer and Sentry. They're making sure Ori can't see him coming right up the hill. They'll block TNC into the mid. Paralyzing cast can make this a little bit more problematic. Ori is getting a lot of damage out. AU's going to go down. Ori will still fall for this course, but Yang's had time to TP over. Armel TPing out. One more impetus. It'll be enough damage. And Armel just not enough time on that TP to get away to safety.
Yeah, they were super ready to help out there. Might see a bit of a change up from Ori in this game. Maybe getting a little tankier in his build would be super useful. They seem to be targeting him really hard. Maybe getting a one bracer or a raindrop. Anything that can give him just that little extra time for them to connect, and this could go even better.
But I think he's already had 3 of the deaths of the 5 kills the TNC has claimed. So
they're targeting him really hard, but guess what that means? That just means the Enchantress and Jugger are having great games. And now that Gabby's playing against Ench, you see the problem. He's getting zoned out, won't be able to farm here, and he's going to leave this lane. It's not feasible for him to stay up here. And of course, you have him power lineup. Sure, you target out one core, but you're not even targeting the guy who's going to, you know, carry the game, which should more than likely be the Juggernaut with power. So the upside, of course, is the guy that they are targeting is the primary playmaker. And if you stifle Lina a bit, Vici Gaming will be playing more defensively, but so far it's okay. They're getting what they need.
Yeah, TNC need to add more pressure. But they still don't have that perfect timing yet. The Infest from Gabby just being used for farming and lane presence for the moment. And Cuckoo doesn't have that delivery system with a Blink Dagger, but it looks like they're going to give him top lane. But it really does feel like SK needs to get a lot more out of this game before TNC can be properly enabled, even with Tim's toss.
Both of the items he has queued up on Sand King are super good this game. I suppose he will get the dagger first, but I still think you get Veil after that. It's incredible for your whole team. They have insane amounts of magic damage to get amplified by it. Oh, it's going to get dusted.
Cuckoo, however, Burrow strikes the other side. He'll be away.
Did that, okay. Minus 90 gold. There's nobody there to help him. That kill is just flat out not happening from Yang. But maybe a bit of a fear factor going forward.
Cuckoo feels fine enough just to bite the bottle as well. Just walk through, back up to full health and decent mana. Good timing for it as well as the 10-minute bounty runes are about to spawn. TNC's looking to fight around the bottom, but Radiant scan up on the hill. It does ping, so they're already a little bit concerned. Witch Doctor throws out the cast, won't bounce to anyone, but Juggernaut ready to fight. They need some damage with Maledict already being committed. Ancient Apparitions back to relative safety, but with 3 seconds of the runes, Sentry wards are down. Witch Doctor getting really caught out by the Avalanche. Maybe with the heal, no, it's still not going to be enough. But PG Gaming, they want to fight. Shockwave connects onto the Infest. Tiny, where are you going? Yeah, you've got someone else inside of you now. Gabby will pop out. Paparazzi's already got the kill on Tim's. Well, up on top, Cuckoo keeping Yang away from the runes, but because he burrow striked in, no escape. Sandstorm was just on cooldown. And Yang, well, he already had the dust anyway, so big kills from VG Gaming happening on both sides of the map.
And it's Siege Creep Wave. They're pushing out bottom. Enchantress is starting a push up top as well, has 2 waves. And that catapult, so bottom tower definitely going down. Mid tower, see Fade immediately walking over here to try and defend it. Will more than likely be absolutely successful. There's
trouble, DY. Nah, Tim's has already killed him.
And he's dead. That's really high levels on Tiny. Level 7 now, minute 10. That's great for him.
He's been involved in all of the kills. All 7. 2 kills, 5 assists.
The floors on Vici Gaming are happy. We talked about this is the early game, the early stage of the game.
Skewer underneath the tier 2 tower in mid. Fade. Sonic Wave pushes him back. The Shadow Strike was going to kill him, but Armel really trying to push the issue. Ori will arrive, but it's all a little too late.
So another extra kill going the way of TNC onto Fade, but where's the tower damage? Are you limiting the Vici Gaming lineup from getting what they want accomplished? They got the bottom tower, they're almost getting the top tower, and this is the farming side that's doing the pushing, right? This is the lineup that you expected would maybe be a little bit slower, and they are still the first ones to get a tower and almost get the second one. So very good news for Vici Gaming.
They're trying to go up for Enchantress. The Ice Blast is coming in. They just have to hold him there, and they're able to do so. Yang.
Nice execution.
Felt really good about pushing the tower as well, but the Midas took out the catapult, and then the push power just came a little too slow, and still by himself. Just in case you needed to raise the spirits.
Yep.
So VG, like, you've still done heavy damage to the tier 1 tower up on top. You've taken the bottom tier 1 tower as well. Is this that point where you're actually happy to let this tier 1 tower go? Should the TP in?
This is pretty dangerous.
Oh, here comes your Avalanche already. DY, open wounds up, can't move away. Paralyzing cast, making it difficult for TNC to instantly disengage. Paparazzi has the Omni Slash available. Here comes your Ice Blast, however. Yang and Paparazzi both getting chilled to the bone. And they need more help to arrive. Fade's thinking about making his own play. He's going to skewer himself away. He wanted to skewer into the RP if they really want to have the fight, but maybe now Ori can find an exiting hero. With a Lion Strike Array, they control Cuckoo. He'll Burrow Strike away, but because he's been dusted up, one more attack. He went down to 18 HP, the Shockwave, it pulls him back, down to 29. They still need one more, the Flame will reach from afar. Ori channels the power of the dragon.
Really nice
Right
spell.
the Sand King.
Super good spell casting. They hit so many things right on the edge. The Shockwave was great. The Dragon Slave in the end, just barely clipping. They get the impetus off as well before he gets down. Super nice from Vici Gaming. And I thought they were going to lose this tower and maybe a couple of kills, but they end up holding it barely, and they are the ones rewarded with a tower kill. They get this on the Jugger. He's now far ahead of the curve.
He's right in front of 3 heroes.
And, yep. But he's not walking up.
All right.
Maybe old Paparazzi would have farmed that camp. But new Paparazzi.
They were hoping for it. The Ice Blast just flew straight over the top of them.
Version 2.0 does not make that mistake anymore.
And that's the kind of clean, sharp play. That's the reason why a lot of people were backing Vici Gaming coming into this TI.
Yep.
Like even over teams like LGD. So Fade's getting his time to farm up inside the jungle. There's so much space in the jungles. DY earning all the fantasy points by stacking every single possible camp he can.
You love that, don't you? Do you have him in your team today?
Of course I do.
Oh, of course.
Of course I do. Like, you're 14 minutes into the game and he's got 13 fantasy points. That's how fast DY moves.
But he also has a haste now, so
yeah,
also moves fast.
That was the intended visual pun.
Oh, I didn't know you were looking at that. I'm looking at my own stuff.
I'm looking at everything, man. I see all. Gabby takes the tier 1 tower up on top. Actually, he misses the last hit on it. But still be a tier 1 tower dropping. The mid tier 1 tower is being chipped away. Fade will finally come out and defend that. But Vici Gaming starting to have some damage done to their map control. Losing the tier 1 tower up on top as well as mid. This is really going to start to feel a restriction and an opportunity for TNC to at least gain some vision. If you can get those orbs down, see where Vici is moving.
I thought Vici were not going to fight the top tower, but defend everything else, or try to defend everything else in the game. But showing that they already want to defend the top tower, I think they're willing to fight for every tower on the map. The question is, are TNC? They're getting a bit surprised here in mid, have to pop the glyph.
Ice Blast is coming in.
Smoke.
Support's arriving as well. The Ice Blast into the back lines. He'll connect over only on Fade. Cuckoo and Armel TP'd into the side trees with Tims. But Vici is fine with this. It's still going to be a 2-2 rune trade. Yang still building up, and if TNC want to fight, Vici are more than ready. Level 2 Omni Slash. The Manta Style is freshly done over on Paparazzi. Ori with the Yule Scepter knows he's able to control or potentially escape. The only thing they're really missing from this fight is kind of Fade's Blink Dagger. Then it feels a lot better for Vici. Then there's that initiation you were talking about.
And they don't have to brute force this mid tower, but what they're accomplishing by going there is they're forcing TNC to react, and that means they're not making their own moves. So it's the good old saying, right? Sometimes a good offense is the best defense. Is that how it goes?
Yeah,
something like that. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
other
the same
way
thing.
around.
No, but it was the same thing I said, just in the other order. But anyway, you get what I mean. You play aggressive, and in return, you end up defending your mid lane. Because every time they make the move first and TNC react, it's a win, as long as they're farming, too. So stretch that as far as you can, right? You know you're not playing the high stun teamfight lineup, but if you can get skirmishes going and make TNC move after you, it's good news.
TNC still have more time to wait before they can fight. We actually thought the Cuckoo might go to Blink Dagger, but we went Veil and now is going into the Blink, so it still feels like it needs both items. Almost the downside about Vici Gaming, yeah, you could farm up inside your own jungle, but because these tier 1 towers have been taken out, there's some safer areas for TNC to farm on bottom lane, because Vici don't want to keep pressuring this. In fact, Vici, they're looking for their own kind of movement. TNC is smoked up looking for something on bottom lane. No one's coming to contest that. Once again, Vici arrive at the tier 1 tower at mid.
Did you notice TNC's movement there? They started making their own move towards bottom. Vici start pushing in toward mid, and they'd have to cycle back in again. Ice Blast.
Ice Blast, no! Forster pushes Yang out, saving himself. And now the Ancient Apparition trapped underneath the Juggernaut. Sand King is dying in the backlines too. The Maledict, I think, is actually going to end up popping him off camera. Yep, that's what happens. Yule Scepter is just the catch shot. Armel can't move anywhere with the RP and Omni Slash. TNC are playing stuck in the mud, and no one wants to run through their legs.
Perfect fight from them. if Yang could have somehow not been clipped by the Ice Blast, that's the ideal fight. But they still got that on him, so they get the 1 kill. But again, TNC trying to move bottom, Vici immediately pressure mid.